to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
Well, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen. Ray Franklin, we have missed you, sir.
Lyrics capture the essence of what
I'm glad to be here, David. Been very busy.
Wait, who's playing it back to us? Is that you, Ray? Someone's playing it back to us. That was Ray. Oh, great. It's great to have Ray back so he can do, yeah. It's really good to see you, Ray. Good to see you. Let's go around the horn here. Mike Latta, how you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Oh, when I got that notification about 7.0, that was a happy day. So I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So when is that coming, David?
Monday. But I keep refreshing anyway. Just because I have a problem. Tony Mobley, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good. It's good to see. We might as well just move in together, my friend.
We might as well.
It's good to see you. And John
Glad to be
Idelson
here.
is here. How you doing, John?
Doing fine. I'm on the road and I'm actually experimenting. This is a new Apple Neo, is I guess that's what they call it,
Oh, sure. The MacBook
on
Neo.
shock phones, and I'm running QCam
QCam.
presenter
Yeah.
in it.
And it's
And
working nicely.
it's not getting warm and it has no fan, so it's silent. So
Wow.
I'm here in the Bay Area playing with new gear, which my granddaughter said, "What new gear do you have to share?" And she wasn't as excited about this because usually I'm bringing something, like a musical instrument or something. She says, "It's just a computer, Dad." I said, "No, it's a new
Wow.
Apple Neo."
That's awesome. Good, good, good. Yeah, lots of people have been testing. It's a very, very interesting little device. Um, okay. Oh, by the way, yes, Ray. Hi.
I'm also just picked up my M5 MacBook Air, and I'm in the process of
Ooh.
transferring. So I'm in uh, uh, unusual territory at the moment, but wanted to say hi. And I'm excited about the new MacBook Air M5.
I'm excited about the new MacBook Ultra that is being rumored. That's what I want with the touch screen and all the bells and whistles. But yeah, the MacBook Air is nice. The Neo is really interesting. I'm planning on getting my wife a Neo and my daughter a Neo, but when I have money. Hey, before I go any further with the around the horns, I was looking something up as we were talking, and I Zoom, if you're listening, you have a bad page on your website. I went to Zoom and then zoom.com/products, and look at this. I can't get, like, if I scroll, it's all going under here, and there's no way for me to get rid of this thing. So that's someone, if someone could fix that, maybe if I click that, yeah, but that takes me to another page. So I don't know if someone could get on that for us, that would be great. I mean, no, it's not going backwards. There it is. So I go here and I click on, oh, that's because I opened the products thing. That's why. Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense. All right. In any case, hey, let's keep going. Tamra.
Hello, hello. So I just bought the Neo for my mom, and I bought me
You
that
did?
MacBook M5 Air, and I love both of them.
Look at all these Mac people. None of you are getting the M5 the little baby guy. What's that guy? The mini?
No,
Didn't
like
that
here.
come out also?
No, I don't think so. Here's the thing. Like I was all set to get to upgrade the Pro, but my M1 Pro is doing fine, and I have
Yeah.
a bunch of Mac Minis that I'm gonna wait to upgrade that one till I get something more exciting like the Ultra or OLED on something cool. So I ended up getting the two, and my mom has her first computer that is her own, and the Neo is perfect for her, and I love it, and I
It's
keep wanting to put it
fantastic.
in my purse.
Yeah.
So it's a great computer.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
the
the
M5 Air
M5
is also
Mini.
amazing.
Yeah, the M5 Mini and the M5 Pro chips for Mini are expected in early to mid 2026. Apologize for that. And pricing will increase from, so if Apple doubles their storage to 512, the price could reach $699.
Or $5.99 with the educational discount.
Or Friday, yeah, that's a shame though, because $599 for
Yeah.
that's a sweet price. Okay, in any case, John Drinkwater.
Well, not wishing to be left out, I have a Mac Mini Pro sitting in my outbox, but I'm waiting for it to go from M4 to M5. So I haven't hit the buy button yet.
Yeah.
John, I want to comment on, you got a like from Eric, the CEO of Zoom, on
I
your
am
post.
officially followed by Eric, and Eric's even sent me a nice message a couple of weeks ago. So yes, I have to be very careful what I say because Eric is watching my every move on LinkedIn.
And
That's
it was a
exciting.
particularly well done LinkedIn. It's not everyone gets his attention, so I celebrate your success.
Thank you, namesake. That is very kind of you. And yes, I'm very careful now to always be fair to Zoom, not crawling to them, fair. Because
Well, you were always fair. I think you were always fair. Hey, if we're gloating, guess what I got invited to? I got invited to nominate myself for Zoom's MVP program. Do any of you know
That's
about this?
fun.
I love that
Yes.
for you.
Yeah. So someone from Zoom reached out and said, "Hey, you should do this because we know about you. We talk about you." I mean, they didn't say we talk about you, but
How
he
did
said
they
you should
talk
do.
about you?
They didn't say that, but he said, like we know what you're doing, so you should do this. So I applied. We'll see what they say. I don't think it means anything other than the fact that I talk about Zoom
That's a
outside
relief,
of Zoom.
Mike. I'd have been really annoyed if he didn't want to join. So that's okay.
No, I
Yeah.
definitely want to join.
Yeah, I already was approached and I filled it out this week as well. So
Oh, good. That's amazing. I didn't know that. Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Well, now I'm feeling left out. That's okay.
I know. If they send us shirts, I'll send it to you, Tara. I promise. You can have my
Thank you.
shirt.
My love of Zoom goes so far,
Yeah, it does. Hey, Hasmuk, how are you, sir?
I am good, thank you very much.
What time is it there? Have your clocks changed again yet?
We don't change clocks, we're civilized, so it's 9:13 in the evening.
Well,
I love that for you.
Civilized, yes.
Yeah, when you move
Steven.
your clocks, then you start at 10. So when you move
That's
your
hard.
clocks, I'm a little happy, so I can get to bed 1 hour earlier.
We're switching to
We're happy
decimal time at the end of the year.
Decibel time?
Yeah.
Luffs. We're going to measure time in luffs now. Steven Libman, how you doing, sir?
I am super fantastic. Mourning the loss of my hero Chuck today, aka
I just
Carlos.
saw that.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? Tell everyone.
Chuck Norris passed away.
Yeah.
So
At 86, I think, right?
86, yeah. And I put I'm just running my little tribute today to Chuck. And yeah, I mean, I go back to the early days of Chuck Norris. I put a little comment. I wrote my own meme today. I thought I was overdue for a Chuck Norris meme. I wrote, Chuck Norris is tougher than death. Now death knows it. So yeah, it's one of those moments. Good guy, good role model. I can't say I dive deep enough into his life to find any of the skeletons in the closet, which is good because you never want to do that when you admire somebody for a lot of good that they've done. So that's it. And the on the M question mark. So I recently upgraded to an M4 Pro Mac Mini, and I got fed up with the 16 gig that I had before. And the only way to get the 64, you had to be blackmailed into the Pro, because you couldn't get it just on the M4. So I bit the bullet. And then I also got a terabyte of space because I'm gun shy with my swap file. Now I don't have a swap file, so that was okay. But yeah, up here in Canada, it's expensive. I mean, it was a hair under $3,000 for a Mac Mini. But I've been using my old Mac One for years. I repurposed my Mac One. I paid like $600 for my Mac One, and it got me all the way through, the heavy lifting of COVID. So I'm all good. I can't say anything bad. And the Neo, I'm waiting for all of you to tell me what's going on with that and the new Macs, because being a little gun shy with memory, I'm just wondering what is its own limitations. I'm assuming there are, because am I right? It maxes out at 8 gig, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, it can't do more than 8 gig because of the chip they use. Next year it might be able to, but this year
it's a phone.
Right.
It's a phone chip. It's the
right,
A18.
but it is. But you know what? Here's why I think I'm gonna buy one. Sitting off to my side here, you'd all be impressed with this late 2013 MacBook Air that has been my road computer. All I've ever done is change the battery on it. And when you're just running Keynote through a projector in a live setting,
you don't need anything more than that.
No, you don't need more. And the only reason because Neo's so inexpensive, I just thought, hey, I'll just go maybe get a Neo for the road now, because listen, I'm still always worried, like what day will it's 13 years old, right? What day will it actually go, you know?
Yeah. A Neo for that is great. As for the right, it has no Thunderbolt, David Brady is saying. So this is not something you're going to want to use for video production or anything like that. As for the Mini, I've got the M4 Mini also. I will never buy for any of my pro work. I'll never buy a Mac that isn't a Pro chip. So I'll never buy like the Mac Mini regular chip or the MacBook Pro regular chip. I'll always, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to get at least the Pro chip. I don't need the Ultra chip or even the Max to. Is there a Mac? I don't even know.
See, I have a different stance than you. I buy base model for most of my Mac Minis at regular, and they only have one job. So like one is an editing computer.
No,
So if it's going to be my show computer, then I will buy the Pro chip. But every other computer is just going to be the other thing, and they're just going to have.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, John, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, one of the nice things about it having the 8 gig is that means programmers are not going to run away from having that. This is going to be in a lot of schools, a lot of systems. So
right,
I think there's going to be, I always worry when they lift that base that the programmers are going to get sloppy with the amount of flex that they have.
What, John, can you explain that a little bit? What's the connection between the RAM
the
and
speed at which
how
to RAM
programmers...
and how you swap things out? And so how much of the RAM that you're going to be used when you're running programs, and particularly video editing, high resolution, you want that speed. That if you think of that as your fast RAM, and then you could think of your hard disk or your solid state disk where it swaps out, but it's definitely not to the same speed.
Gotcha.
But I feel the Canadian pain. I was at CES and luckily won a gift card from one of the booths, and I got it. I tried to spend it when I picked up my machine, and it was a Canadian gift card. So now, so $100 gift card in Canada did buy a $700 unit here. That's the way the stuff worked. But I could do my imitation of an Apple employee now at the bank. They're just
not really so hot off the presses, but from a week or two ago, Mark Gurman talked about the M6 MacBook Pros with OLED displays, touchscreen functionality, a thinner design in the fourth quarter of 2026. But his suggestion is that now it's actually going to be a brand new type of MacBook Ultra. That it's not going to take the place of any MacBooks that we currently have, but touchscreen, OLED, M6.
I don't want touchscreen. I just want pretty computer.
That's going to be a tough one to say no to. Hey, Ray.
I just came from the largest Apple store in Florida at the Millennium Mall in Orlando, packed with tourists. They had 50 of the new little laptops out, and there was a dozen kids at each one of them. It was packed. It was amazing. I barely get through to pick up my order. So they're pretty cute, and they'll be very successful.
Yep, absolutely. So, folks, should we talk some Zoom? So, first of all, next week, Andy Carluccio is going to be joining us because they have a bunch of announcements, things happening. I keep refreshing to see if it's at all possible that enhanced media mode has already is available, but alas, I haven't seen it anywhere. At least it's not showing up on. I keep going to the pricing page, and then scrolling down to the add-ons because presumably this is where it would be. Unfortunately, they don't make it really. I liked it better before, so you could see everything, but. So I haven't seen that yet. That's the piece I'm most excited about. But there's some other stuff that he's going to be announcing, and of course, we've got 7.0 coming out on Monday. So the rumor that he was saying is that the enhanced media will be available tomorrow. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what the date that he had said, I think, unless I'm wrong. But maybe the 23rd makes more sense. So should we talk? Should we go through some notes here? See what's happening? First thing that's happening is I should make sure that I'm actually showing what I want to be showing on YouTube. Am I showing what I want to? Yes, I am. Okay, good. Excuse me. The first thing I just want to say that makes me sad, and Tamara knows where I'm going with this, is that Huddles is going away. Zoom Huddles beta is ending, and I don't think it's ending because they're launching it to everyone.
Womp womp womp.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much done. The 7.1 release will kill it officially. So we've now been told, by the way, that 7.1 is coming 3 months from Monday, because they say here in these release notes that we'll have access to Huddles for 3 months if you are on an earlier version of Zoom. So if you upgrade, so don't upgrade if you're using Huddles and you want to hold on to those. And then it'll be dying 3 months later. Just sad. But there's a lot of other good stuff that's coming. Not as much as I would have thought, actually, if I'm being perfectly honest. This feels like a big number jump. And at least within meetings, which is where I live, not necessarily the huge changes that I would have expected. But we've got some memory optimization settings for inactive navigation tabs. There's actually quite a bit in here about sharing, about screen sharing, and protecting your privacy and optimization for that. So inactive navigation tabs to improve system performance. You can enable a memory optimization setting. Are these must be tabs in Zoom, right? Yeah, it must be. These are tabs within the Zoom app. It must be. Okay. Then they put this one in just for Mike about Linux. Enhancements to the contacts tab, which everyone I also think is going to get somewhere else. There's another one of that. An improved AI companion onboarding experience. They are retiring 10.13 and 10.14 on Mac OS. Speaking of that, they're retiring some Linux. This is kind of nice. Account owners and admins can create a custom banners that display organizational announcements to users on the Zoom Workplace app home tab. So let me open my my Zoom app here. So if I'm on the home app tab, presumably kind of up here, or let me turn this on, sorry. Cursor. Presumably this area up here, maybe that's where the banners are, but you'll be able to put in custom banners for your organization. Talk about trying to keep people in the Zoom app all the time. This is a great way to do that. You tell people, you have to check every morning. First thing you should do is check the Zoom for announcements. I love that. I think that's a really smart thing to do. All right, some Apple Watch stuff. Organizer tab default. This is tab organization. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Meeting features. Goodbye Zoom Huddles. Voice translator during meetings. Account owners and admins with eligible, boy, I wish Robert were here, accounts can enable voice translator capabilities that convert translated captions into spoken audio for meeting participants. Automated text-to-speech services in multiple languages. Uses AI to process spoken language, translate content, and generate synthetic speech in real time. Translation quality may vary and evolve depending on the language pair, audio quality, and speaking clarity. Oh, right, because it's there are 3 steps here. The transcript is having to accurately hear what the speaker is saying. Then the AI is having to accurately translate what's written into audio, and then all of the actual audio work also.
Has
And
to
this
work
will be
out if
done-
it's live or live.
Right. Um, and then this will be come in phases with beta access given to eligible accounts with limitations. Oh, I'm sure this will be a paid add-on. There's no way they can do this they can just add this for free. I wonder what voice engine they're using. I hope they're using 11 Labs. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's the best one out there, unless Zoom has something better. I think it's outstanding.
David, I think I do know that answer. Can you tell me that again? Which one are they using? The voice translator? Did they
I
actually
don't
say in
know.
there?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know which one I'm using. That's what I said. I hope they're using 11 Labs, but I have no idea.
Yeah. For as far as, again, with John and I in the development world, we do know that that it is 11 Labs new software that they've just developed over the last, they've just released it within the last month.
That's
It's
great.
a new API stuff that it's I'll dig around and find the name for that. But
All right. I use the 11 Labs API in a couple of the apps that I built, and it's outstanding. It's just outstanding. This is great. This is really nice. I wonder, boy, do I wish Robert were here. Is he watching on YouTube? I mean, this is really his area. We'll have to get him to weigh in. Let's see. We got custom emojis. Okay. Support auto call for scheduled meetings on mobile devices. This is something, John, was this you who said that? Who was? I can't remember who it was. Someone was talking about how they just get a phone call when it's time for the meeting to start from Zoom. But that's only on desktop. Now I guess it's coming to mobile also.
Yeah, I have that on my Mac Mini. So my Mac Mini will
Right.
phone me. So I just get a call come up when the meetings start.
And at some point, I'd love for you to show us how you set that up. Like, is it only for your meetings, or is it for any meeting you're going to, or like for this meeting, for example, which is not a scheduled meeting, could you set up a phone call for a non-scheduled PMI meeting?
Yeah, it just picks up all the meetings that I'm. So you know how you get your little notification in the bottom corner when a meeting's going to happen. You get your 5-minute warning and things like that, and you can send a chat message. You don't even have that either, do you?
I don't know.
We do for sure on Windows. I don't know if it's a Mac Windows thing, but.
So talk me through this. What are we talking about here?
So in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you should get notifications that come up.
Well, I get notifications in the top, but okay.
Okay, so yours are in the top. Okay, so it works like that. So it will call me to how do I put it technically? I suppose the technical answer is it invites me to all meetings that have a call.
Right, but
because sometimes when you put them into
Zoom. Is that Zoom or is that your calendar?
That's Zoom using my calendar.
So what is this?
Because sometimes you get meetings in your calendar, but there's a join button. And sometimes because of the way it inserts, you don't get a join button. And I think it's when the join button works, that's when I get a prompting.
I can't even find my calendar. Where's calendar? Schedule. Oh, it's right there. So this meeting is on here, and it's a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and you've got the big button there to join the meeting.
Oh yeah, for me it's
to start the meeting.
Okay,
yeah, so I'd expect that one to pop up.
Right, but how do I get the phone call? Because that I don't have. That's not happening for me.
I'd have to go upstairs and look at what my settings are, but I think it's something in the Mac that does it for me.
All right.
I'll have a dig around for you.
Yeah. Okay.
John, are you using Zoom phone?
I do have Zoom phone, but when I say it calls me, it doesn't really phone me. It just invites me to join the meeting as a
Gotcha,
pop-up, and I
okay.
just hit the button
Yeah.
and I join it. But it's like you're getting a phone call. That's why
Yeah.
I mentioned it that way.
Yeah, there's
David
some
Brady was
features that
just
if you
asking,
have Zoom phone that are very powerful that it's not necessarily on another carrier.
And Tony, you're just 1/100th dot behind where we are. We're at 677 right now, and you're at 676. You were saying in the chat. Okay. Users can upload a single voice recording or image from the smart recognition section in the Zoom Workplace mobile app. I remember this to activate multiple features across Zoom Workplace apps and Zoom Rooms. Right. This is smart name tags. This is, remember, we played with this a while back. This is where you have to record yourself. And based on that recording, it can do smart name tags. It can do personalized audio isolation and a few other things. So now I get, okay, so it's interesting. So now what they're doing is they're saying before you had to upload an audio file here of your voice. You had to do a separate one for personal audio isolation. And it sounds like now they're unifying that. So now you can upload one single voice recording and it'll work across the app. Here's part of the enhanced media. Sharing video files at up to 60 FPS. So right now it's what, 30? It's 1080 30 for screen share. So now we're getting 1080 60. And you're going to be able to select the resolution and frame rate. And Zoom automatically adjusts these settings based on the source video and network conditions. So I guess you can say, I'd like 1080 60, but then Zoom will adjust if it can't accommodate that, I guess.
David, that would not surprise me because that's what it does now. If you can't handle 1080p 30, it automatically start bringing you down to 720 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So let me ask you a question. If I'm doing a screen share and it's not a video, let's say it's just a simple keynote, is there value to me telling Zoom, don't do 1080 60, do 1080 30? Is that valuable to me? How does that help?
Well, that's when it's almost smuggled in there already, because when you do a screen share, the original screen share size it will do is the pixel size that you give it. So however big the window you make is the pixel size of the screen share. And if you enable video sharing as the sub option, that's when it adds more frames, because you've just told it you're going to run a video. If you don't highlight that, it tends to have a lower frame rate because it's expecting you just to share physical pages. So it's already in there already. And if I could just add one more little thing, because I posted this because I only noticed this week. If you go into Zoom Clips has already got a little option button to increase the quality.
Interesting. By the way, Zoom Clips is getting a lot of love in 7.0. It's really interesting how much attention is being given to Zoom Clips. The reason I was asking, though, John, is because it says here users can select the resolution and frame rate in the share modal before choosing a file. So it sounds like it's like what we have now, except now it's going to be even more granular. And I guess what I'm wondering is, if I don't need 60 frames per second, does it behoove me to turn that down, or should I just leave it as a user?
As a user, never send more data than you really need. Never over. So don't send 60 frames a second if it's just a physical screen share, because you're just putting more pressure on your machine to process the image, your network to send the image. So it's really nice to dance your hands around at 60 frames a second, but I can hear my PC whirring underneath trying to keep up with me.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Thank you.
Is this just a quick question? Is this akin to the old optimized video setting that was?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what he was just talking about. It sounds to me, we'll have to see on Monday, but it sounds to me like that two things are happening. Number one, is that optimized for video basically gave you 30 FPS, and now they're saying you can get 60 FPS.
Right.
And number two, they're saying that you can now you don't just have one toggle. You don't just have a toggle that says optimized for video or don't optimize for video. Now you have a toggle perhaps that says optimized for video and give me 60 FPS or 30 FPS, maybe. We'll have to see how
And
they
if I
implement
may,
it.
since it's still fresh in my mind, the question about pixel size, because I found this out like a long time ago by accident. But if you're doing full screen on a 2K or 4K monitor, you're still limited to 1080. I'm imagining. But if you have, let's say I'm using a 2K monitor and I use like share that primary screen, I technically, as long as I know my pixel sizes, I'm imagining that I can have just the 1080 size. I don't need the 2K size, and I'm going to get the same image. Is that true, or was that unclear the way I asked?
No, I think so. I think, like John said, what you send it is what is the what Zoom can send.
Yeah,
Or,
this,
you know,
and David,
ahead,
this
please,
is
John.
this is talking about files, isn't it? You see, of course, when we screen share, we suddenly think of a section of the screen we're sharing. But what they're saying now is, if you're going to send files, which I assume is going to be video files in a lot of cases, you're now going to have that granularity to decide what those files are going to be as well.
But I think it's useful for us to go back in the time machine in 2013 when the whole idea of the separate screen share was to let you see what you had in a keynote or a PowerPoint slide when you had too many words of text on it and the resolution couldn't hold it at 720 or 360 or whatever it was. So the whole screen share was to reduce the frame rate so they could put more data so you could have a clearer picture. And then the video enhancement was, well, we're going to slow the frame rate down so we could give you as much pixels as we can, and it was going to be up and in. But to me, it's sort of amazing. You go 2013, we had choice A or B, and we were lucky if it worked with the network. And the choices that we have now are just pretty amazing.
They really are. And David is explaining on YouTube, and thank you, David, that you should not send 60 FPS if you don't need it because it will save on bandwidth. That 60 FPS is a waste for talking heads. It's good for high-speed motion review, a la sports review, and think of Zoom and their MLB partnership. So, thank you for that. All right, let's see. Post-meeting assets. A unified meeting management experience. Now, an email can route them directly to AI Companion 3.0, where you can see all your meeting assets, ask follow-up questions about their meetings, complete action items, and generate additional content using AI capabilities. This is end to end. I mean, this is. If you live in the Zoomiverse, boy, there's some powerful stuff here.
The post-meeting stuff that they have been building, we looked at it so long ago when it first came out, like Zoom Docs and things like that. It is becoming really robust. Like the meeting notes are better than anything I could possibly have ever taken. I say that as
I agree.
I can't even believe it because I've been the meeting taker forever. And I think they really are just doing things that are really intuitive to, you can change the view of how they look. You can have tasks anywhere you want. The docs themselves, someone put together one for our team, and you could view it any way that you wanted to. So if I'm a visual person, I need it in a calendar, it'll show me as a calendar. If I need it as a list, it'll show me as a list. You can click a little tab and it'll show me as a Gantt chart. I mean, that is really powerful. So I'm really impressed at just some of the stuff that they're doing. And I feel like it's been a little quieter. I feel like they came out with Zoom Docs and it couldn't do anything. And we were all like, I can't do anything. But now I really think it's becoming more and more powerful.
And the My Notes feature that we played with last week was really fun also. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, John.
I don't know if you've noticed, but you can now regenerate your notes. So if you have meeting notes and it's used the basic template, you can now go to your notes and there's a regenerate button at the bottom. You can change the template to one of the other templates and you just press the regenerate button and it rebuilds the transcript based on the different layout.
Yeah,
different
it's like that
emphasis.
with the agenda too. I mean, that to me, like that is something that no one else has been able to do, right? You're not able to do that in Google, which I love the Google Workplace. I don't get me wrong, but I think that that's really powerful stuff. That they're kind of saying you can have it any way you need it. Once you have this information, you can repurpose it, which is really the best use of like databasing and technology is to be able to
Well,
give people what they need.
my friends, though, when we talked about that, because I was doing it with some of our meetings, and it's regenerate, and they said, "No, John, when it's your meeting, it's regurgitating."
It is. That's fantastic. Um, we have a couple questions coming in. Tony, I see yours. Hang tight for a few minutes. Mike, Yonit class, do you want to share her question or his question? Forgive me.
Yeah, just give me a sec here. Absolutely. So, would there be a reduction in latency when going 60 frames per second, unless the extra load on the servers and encoding decoding negates it? So, no. If anything, my answer would be to this when it comes to 60 frames a second, is that the latency could potentially actually increase depending on the hardware that you're actually running to get that. If you do want that 60 frames a second to come out of your machine to the Zoom cloud. So when it comes to latency right now on the Zoom platform, it's very, very minimal. And if you're getting large latency in a normal Zoom meeting, you should be checking your own hardware at your location itself first and double checking with the stats that you're getting between yourself and the Zoom servers, which is in the statistics set in the settings section, statistics section of settings. There we go.
And Mike, what about the another piece that the enhanced media is giving us is a greater bit rate. How does bit rate figure into latency and all this other stuff?
Sure. So
Or
when it
anyone
comes,
else, by the way. I don't mean to dump this on anyone who,
yeah,
please.
no, that's fine. That's fine. No, so again, I've been playing around with bit rates and frame rates. I'm almost two and a half decades in the streaming world. So when it comes to the bit rate situation, is that now because we're going from 30 frames to 60 frames, we need more bandwidth. So that's automatic because we're shoving more pixel down the pipe. Okay, to be very, very simplistic. So that automatically means that if you do not have a great upload speed where you currently are, do not be using 60 frames a second because that will hurt you. It will not help you. It will hurt you. It will hurt you hard, as a matter of fact. So you might even contemplate making sure that you're not even enabling 1080p if you do not have a lot of bandwidth at your location as well, because you might want to be able to get that bandwidth back so you can actually then go 720p. So again, as the conversation has been going in the chat, and love it, guys, keep it up in chat. Dave has been mentioning about talking head. That's right. Right now, the only redrawing that Zoom is actually doing frame rate for me is every time I nod my head and my mouth moves. My background's not moving, so it's not changing any bandwidth there. My chair is not moving, and nor is my microphone. Go ahead, David.
Wait, sorry, redrawing? You said Zoom isn't, what is redrawing?
Okay, so that redrawing is basically, the more action in the frame, the more frame rate goes up, right? Because I'm now redrawing the screen every millisecond, frame per second. I'm redrawing the screen every frame per second. So now, because I'm actually moving my hand, now the frame rate is actually going to have to be more intense because I'm being more intense with my hand. So that the actual machine now has to deal with, oh, Mike moved his hand a little bit. I have to do everything now quicker because I actually moved my hand that much quicker. Thus, frames per second.
Part of it is the challenge of if you have a virtual background or a motion in it. But I think another way of thinking about it is to people, you were on a Zoom call on your cell phone and you were not getting through very clearly, and you took your camera off, and things improved because you were using considerably more bandwidth when you were doing audio and video. the video tape turned off, let your phone, let the audio, which is very low bandwidth use, get through.
And
Right.
by the
And
way,
it's
speaking
also
of that,
reducing it's also reducing your resources that you're using on your machine because now the video is not being generated. Go ahead, Dave.
and connected to that, Jonathan, and thank you, Jonathan, for telling us your name. I'm sorry about that. Jonathan is reminding us about the ladder encoding, that we're not going to be stuck with just one HD stream, 720 or 1080. Now you'll be able, essentially, you'll be able to get one of those two, whichever one you can receive. That's the one you'll get, and the experience for everyone else won't be degraded because someone can only get 720, which is a huge win.
And for our history buffs, that's when who called in on an iPhone? We just dropped the
Right.
resolution.
Exactly. Or a browser, I think, right? That they could only, browsers can only do 720. Yeah. Zoom should add an extra audio latency by X milliseconds option to sync AV. Oh, it's such a hard thing to deal with virtual audio cables and plugins just to get things in sync with FHD. So yeah, Jonathan's talking about this is in the YouTube chat about syncing your audio and visual. And actually, let me bring in Tony, if you're up to it. You had a question here that you put in the chat about audio and video being out of sync. Maybe this would be a good time to jump on that.
So we have totally right now, we have totally virtual services right now, and we have individuals that are pretty much 70 plus and up, and the primary speaker on the 8th of March was out of sync during her sermon, and it's not the first time. And so I'm trying to figure out, it's like pulling teeth to find out. I even at this late date, I still don't even know what kind of, I know she has a Windows computer. I know that it's a laptop. How old it is, I don't know. The specifications on it, I don't know. I've asked, and I get this kind of thing of, I don't think she knows how to identify that information. And so I just wanted to see if you guys had any idea if it was possibly the computer. Does she need to update the Windows? What might be the problem? Because she's consistent with being out of sync. But what's interesting is that if she's on a normal Zoom service, she's not out of sync. But if she's speaking or teaching, she's out of sync.
So let's broaden the question. And what are the factors that go into keeping audio AV in sync in Zoom? And I'll say the first couple that are obvious that don't really apply here, but the more stuff that's in your chain, if you have an external microphone, and if that microphone is plugged into a booster, and if that booster is plugged into a mixer or an audio interface, and if that audio interface is plugged into your camera, and then the camera is plugged into your computer, like everything in your chain, or if you're going through Ecamm or Mimble, everything that's in your audio chain has the potential to add to throw things out of sync. But in this case, it's just Zoom. So
it's just Zoom.
What could
and
be
none of those things apply.
Right.
Yeah, but
so
I
what
guess
could be
the question, Tony, you said, what is the difference between where she is in sync and where she isn't? Is it a different Zoom meeting? Is it a webinar?
No, it's just, we only have Zoom meeting.
Okay, so she's in sync for what sort of Zoom?
If she's making a comment, if she is basically if she's making a comment, or pretty much that's it. She's not actually the primary speaker. Anytime she's teaching or speaking, then there's a problem.
So is she being pinned or is she going through some sort of process of a
She is
OBS?
spotlighted. That's the only thing I can say, that she's spotlighted at these times when we are having issues.
So if she's just on a panel view, it's all in sync, and then when you spotlight her, it goes out of sync.
Yes.
The only thoughts that I have so far, Tony, from what I've heard, is it's potentially that the machine that she's on is not powerful enough. Because what happens with spotlighting versus gallery is or two things just popped in my head. So let me start with the first one, is that the hardware itself could be when if she's watching in gallery, then all of a sudden gallery and you all of a sudden spotlight her. Again, of course, you know that it goes into a different layout, which makes the spotlight of her much bigger, right? So there could be resources it could be resource related, or because of the fact now that you are spotlighting her, you are now forcing the amount of bandwidth out of her now to be the best that she can offer the group, because you're spotlighting her is equivalent to pinning, which means that now you're expecting, as an example, as we are just talking about, 1080p 30 from her if she has that capability within her own equipment. Now you're asking for that 1080p 30 bandwidth wise as well to be sent properly to the meeting by spotlighting. So it could be because up until that point, when she's not, then she might be only sending 360p.
Like I said, for me, Tony, the question, if she's not capable of giving you the information of what's the resolution of her camera, what's happening, have you talked to her about letting you remotely control her machine? And then you could go through, and if it's a Windows machine, there's various Windows tools you could open up and see what her hardware is. And because a lot of people don't know how to look for that, but you can do that remotely if she gives you cursor control.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's definitely an option. Thank you for even suggesting that. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess this is part two to that same question. So I need your advice in terms of when Zoom comes out with new products, it overwhelms them. And by what I mean by that is, like, for example, the new notes feature that's available, any kind of new announcement that comes out, they get nervous and they're like, so do I need to do some kind of like small workshop, or because they're afraid that they're going to mess something up? And
Are there
Tamara, go ahead.
individual Zoom accounts, or are they part of the organization's Zoom account?
No, they're individuals.
No, this is they're individuals.
Yeah.
Because here at our university, we can decide which of these features are going to go into the system. And so we tend to not add any changes to how Zoom works during a semester, because you don't want students to get confused halfway through it. But if this is just a private account or, a personal account, they'll get those announcements in, and that can be a challenge.
David Brady is just getting back to your sync questions. Talking about poor internet connection, typically less than 6 megabytes or high packet loss causes the incoming audio to lag behind video. High CPU processor load, other applications who are running simultaneously that may be hogging resources. If she's running Chrome in the background, that could absolutely be eating up her resources. Bluetooth headphone lag, if she's using a Bluetooth headphone, that absolutely can cause lag also. Outdated Zoom app. Boy, David, you're killing it. Thank you. Outdated drivers, maybe do a clean reinstall. And also noise suppression settings. Zoom's auto noise suppression may interpret audio as noise causing issues. Changing settings to low can maybe fix this. It's all from Zoom. Thank you, David, so much. Tamara, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like all these new things that are happening with Zoom, they make Zoom more powerful for people like us who are like super nerdy and geeky about it. But Zoom out of the box that literally does not do anything for someone except connect them with people that they want to be connected with is absolutely super powerful. So when I find that my people are getting overwhelmed by all the new cool things, I'm like, just ignore that until they're ready. And then I can introduce them and teach them in a way that is meaningful. But like we get excited about every little thing. They don't need to get excited about every little thing. They need to get excited about the things that the fact that they're being connected from one person somewhere to another person somewhere else. And she's getting to share her message from her place to everywhere. So every time something is new and exciting, like take time for us to learn it in, out, backwards, up, down, so that then when someone's ready for it, we have the answers in a way that is easy to understand and not in a discovery way. That's just my suggestion, because I deal with a lot of people too who are overwhelmed by literally everything. And we forget, because we get so excited about all the cool things that Zoom can do, that Zoom at its base is so powerful for people who don't understand every little thing. So that would be my only suggestion, is just to remember that if she doesn't need the Notes app, she doesn't need the Notes app. Like the Notes part of it, like the connecting
Use what
part
you
of it's
need.
the best part.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, just to add, it reminds me of my mother-in-law. No mother-in-law jokes here, but in my mother-in-law, we had to tape off her remote control. So there's a power button, a volume button, and that's it, because all the other buttons on the cable remote were like, and there were buttons there on the cable remote. I didn't know what the heck they were. So we just kind of like made a little sleeve. And then her iPhone was causing her trouble. So we went into what I call senior mode. If you've ever seen that, where basically you have very little control. The buttons all get big. You've got like 2 or 3 buttons. You can text, you can take a picture, and you can make a phone call. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves this, like Tamara said, that, yeah, we kind of get it. And I'm nowhere near most of you guys. And I always say, if you're 10% above somebody else, you appear to be a genius and you appear to be very excited. And then we let that excitement go down, run downhill. So I think what Tamara was saying was perfect, is like, just meet them where they are. And that's number one. The second thing I want to throw in there was, and this happened to me, and it was just ridiculous when I had my old M1, and there's a magic point where the pressure on your system goes from just, it's going to work, to, oh my God, one more K of push is going to just throw it out of whack. And I remember I had a virtual background on. And when I turned off my virtual background, it wasn't even a green screen. The heck with that. I just had a virtual background. And I just crested into that side of the realm of no good, stable anything. So what I would say is, just look at all those variables that are there, and have her use it exactly the same way as when she's presenting and not presenting, but just check what that pressure is, because it's almost certainly, I mean, like I said, I'm not the genius that half of you guys are, but it's it's almost certainly the GPU pressure, or it's the bandwidth. Because I've had that happen 3-4 different ways, and it's always that little extra. You said Chrome. I had too many tabs open on Chrome one day. I closed half my tabs, and all of a sudden Zoom was working better. Better yet, close all my tabs. But that's from the trench.
Yeah,
That's great. Thank you.
What I've been pushing right now is make sure that all of them do a restart before we have service, regardless, and make sure there are no tabs that are open in the background. But it's a work in progress. Thank you for your answers. I'm leaning toward it possibly being a CPU and internet issue as the primary reasons for it.
And Tony, of course, if she's on Wi-Fi, that's going to be another obstacle too.
She is on Wi-Fi.
That'll do it too.
Almost all of my people are on Wi-Fi. I can't get anybody to be connected by cable.
Mine too.
Jonathan is suggesting that Zoom could add a extra latency slider an audio slider to let us. We have something like that in Ecamm, where we can kind of add or take away latency. And then he also says that we should throw in a toggle for original audio.
But you've already seen that working, David. I showed you that.
Just want a button. Hey, Robert's finally here. Thank God. But before we get to Robert, can I just share two things that are coming out in 7.0 that I'm really excited about? Check this out. This will either be exciting or a disaster. So look at this. We're getting a whole new way to interact with the participants panel. So right now, when you hover over a participant here in my participants panel, you get the big either mute button or ask to unmute button, and then you get the more button. Well, now we're going to have a persistent layout with status icons that are visible and action buttons stay consistently displayed. Each status icon shows descriptive tooltips when hovered, indicating the current state or available actions such as muted or video on. So now I assume there's going to have to be a more menu, because I don't know how they're going to put everything on that in there, but at least maybe the most important action items and statuses will be right there, visible persistently. We won't have to click into the more button. I wonder how that's going to change the layout of the participants panel. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Mike.
I envision that might be the top bar.
The top bar, but it's for each person.
It's for each person.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take that back. No, I thought it was more specific to letting you know if you have your video on or muted or such.
Oh, no. I believe this is about everyone, I think. Unless I'm reading it wrong. In meeting participant list status icons and better visibility. I think it's for everyone, which is I think it's going to be exciting to see how they implement that. And just do one more for you, and then we'll go over to Robert, because I actually want to go back and see what he thinks about that other thing. But this new dynamic gallery view, you're not stuck with 9 people anymore. Now you can have up to 49 participants, which begs the question for me again, isn't that just gallery view? But I guess it's gallery view with zoomed in on people's faces in case they're sitting off to the side or something like that. I guess that's what it is. But now you will not be limited to 9, and which was one of my gripes last time, right? One of my gripes last time was, if I like to be able to see everyone who's in a class that I'm teaching. And if I have only 9 people up there, that's just not going to cut it. But now that I'll be able to have all 49 people, or however many I have, up to 49, and have that sort of zoomed in focus on their face look, that I think will be super helpful. That'll be really nice. And especially nice, if the current behavior remains the same for streaming. So current behavior is, if I'm in gallery view, traditional gallery view, then that's what gets streamed out. If I'm in any other view, then it's speaker view that gets streamed out. And so what I would love is to be able to be in dynamic gallery view, so that I'm seeing the dynamic gallery, but we're still sending out speaker view on the stream. And that's essentially, by the way, that's why I like using the live streaming app instead of that's really the one of 2 reasons why I like using it. Because on the live streaming app, here, I'll show everyone that we use here. Give me a moment. I'm sorry. So here on the live streaming app, it's a little annoying that it's not a frozen header, but up at the very top, I can indicate, what do I want to send out to the stream? Do I want follow host? Do I want speaker view, or do I want gallery view? And so what's nice about this is that I can keep this in speaker view, and I can have gallery view in my window. The other thing I love about this is that I get the YouTube comments right here in Zoom, which is really fantastic. But it sounds like at least the dynamic gallery will allow us to sort of have the best of both worlds first when it comes to streaming. Hey, Robert, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just listening to you, David, and trying to imagine you with your 25 stream decks, each with 64 buttons, two huge screens with 60 odd people on them, you teaching a class and paying attention to all of that. I just admire you so much. It's so amazing what you can do.
That's
It's
the
funny.
dream.
It's funny that you think I'm actually paying attention to all that, and like I just press buttons. Hey, Robert, did you hear? I don't know if you heard. Well, now I'm looking for it and I can't find it. This voice translator during meetings. Did you hear this when we were talking about it?
Not when you were talking about it, but I have been listening to a lot about it. Yeah.
So I'm curious what you think. This is coming out in 7.0, and it uses AI to provide text-to-speech services in multiple languages.
Yeah, but we've had translated captions for a long time now. So
but
fact
not
that
audio, right? But not text-to-speech.
But changing it from text to speech using something like 11 Labs is just a very simple solution, really, because the whole of that engine already exists. It's been trained and it works really well. So it's not something that surprises me. What's nice is that they've put it all into one function, and it's going to be available for people to use. So that is cool. Yeah, that is really
But
nice.
what does this do to your business model?
Gets you more business.
You know what? And David, I've been working with interpreters for a long time, and we've been talking about AI and the impact of AI on the interpretation business. AI in interpretation took over the jobs of what I'd call the average interpreters very quickly. But where you get to the upper group and the top group, you will not see the president of any nation going to a meeting with an AI agent. Okay, it just won't happen. Because the person he's been working with for so long. That person knows that when he smiles, he means something. When he blinks, he means something. Yeah, there are so many other messages going through that. And the same applies to the C-suite in any corporate organization. And that's where we're mainly focused on. And we can see this because the companies, the organizations ask for specific interpreters. They don't ask for an interpreter. They ask for specific interpreters because they know them, they trust them. Remember that interpretation is all about trust, because if you have someone who's saying I in your name, on your behalf, giving a message in a language that you don't understand, you better trust him. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to send that message across with confidence. So in that area, we haven't been affected. But I'll tell you what has been happening. Ever since last year, I've been working with interpreters to raise their level of the way they look, the way they speak, the way they sound, all of their tech stuff. And today, I got a request to work with the Association of Sworn Interpreters. Those are the interpreters that work in court cases with lawyers, at the police, and they want to be able to present themselves better. Because when you're interpreting, if I'm interpreting a lawyer, I will say I when the interpreter says I. I'll say you when the interpreter says you. So the effect of that is when you look at me as I'm interpreting for the lawyer over there, you want to trust me just as much as you trust that lawyer. So there's a lot of work going on in there as well. So to answer your question, for the interpretation side of things, the interpreters have got a lot better. Their tools have got a lot better. The good interpreters have become so efficient, and glossaries, which interpreters use all the time, because if me and you are interpreting for a job, we need to use the same glossary. So we use the same vocabulary, the same words for the same things, because when we swap over, the message has to be consistent. So there are a lot of good things that are happening in that area.
Wow. Fascinating. John, go ahead.
And
I'm
so
sorry.
I'll just say one more thing. The other thing that AI has really done a lot of good work for the interpretation group, or is that the tools that allow you to get a PDF, a PowerPoint, a keynote, and translate that directly without doing any additional work using your own glossary. You just get prepared. The guy starts speaking, you do the translation, you look at it, and you know what he's talking about. You're listening to him, and you can see what he's talking about. Brilliant.
Yep. Yeah. The other day, I wonder if I can find it. Oh gosh, wait, I just clicked something. What did I do? Cancel. I don't know if so in Semitic languages, or at least in Hebrew, I should say, the vowels are like dots and dashes below and above the letters, and people who speak Hebrew or who know Hebrew well, they don't even use the vowels. You write it without the vowels. But dummies like me, we need the vowels. So every once in a while, I'll come across a piece of Hebrew text that isn't vocalized. And I had a dedicated app that I could throw it in and it would put the vocalization in for me. I've started just going to ChatGPT and asking, hey, AI, vocalize this for me. And I even put a piece of Aramaic text in there the other day, and it's doing it perfectly. It's just amazing. John.
Sorry, John, David, just remember that AI models were trained on text.
Right.
Yeah. So and it's very easy to bring up a translation of the Old Testament in whatever language you want, and all the work's been done for you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good translation of existing documents. The challenge is how to go forward. That's where you get all the oddballs.
Yeah. John, go ahead.
Quite frankly, I think this feature is going to increase the amount of work that Robert needs to do, because it's going to make people realize how easy it is to get translations working. But then they're going to get to the point of, we use corporate speak, we use terms, the system can't cope with those, and that's going to then encourage them to use Robert's services and other translators. So I think it's actually going to increase their workload rather than fix it and replace them.
I mean, I wonder how good this will be. We'll have to see how good this will be at, as you said, corporate speak or medical lingo or legal lingo or things like that. It'll be interesting to see. By the way, Tony just suggested that I share with everyone that when I do this kind of thing and I'm sharing my screen, that is an Ecamm function, not a Zoom function. So just so everyone knows. All right. Let's see, what else did we have? We did the 49. Oh, this is interesting also. Browser tab sharing. So now you can, apparently you couldn't share tabs before in a browser. Is that true? But now you can? Hold on. I'm going to pull up my sharing window. And let's take a look at this. So, I don't have a browser open. Idiot. Sorry. Let me do that one more time.
And open multiple tabs on your browser.
What do you say?
You need to open multiple tabs on your browser, otherwise you can't demonstrate
Yeah,
it.
I'm getting there. Zoom, test kitchen.
So when Zoom did a share, it would take the browser tab that you've opened and fixated on that, and you couldn't change tabs. That's what used to happen, I believe.
Right. Okay, so I've got 3 different pages open: the kitchen, Zoom, and Zoom support. So now I'll go into share, and let me pull this guy down here so everyone can see. So now I've got just application Windows Safari. I didn't realize that you can't do individual tabs. That's really interesting. So what this is going to allow you to do now is share an individual Chrome or Edge browser tab during meetings, Oh, I should have used, I'm in Safari, but I think it's pretty much the same. Presenters can select any tab from the sharing menu, and only that tab is visible to participants, even if they switch away during the presentation. So if, let's say I was sharing a tab and I then do this, you all will still see the tab that I was on before. This feature provides presenters with greater privacy control and helps participants focus on relevant content without distractions from unrelated browser tabs. And then wait, I thought I saw also something that
David,
you
they
just
were
said,
also,
John.
David, they were very specific too, that it's going to be Chrome and Edge only.
And Edge, a Chromium browsers, right?
Right. Yes. So Chromium based
So it's not
browsers where
just Chrome or
Safari.
Edge. It's
So
it's any
Safari is not a
Chromium.
Chromium based browser.
Right.
So it has to be a Chromium based browser, not a Firefox based browser, because that's different again.
Right. I mean, I don't
Because that's
think.
Mozilla in the background.
Right. Do I have Chrome on this computer? I haven't. No, I have Arc.
Officially, unofficially, you do because it's a workplace app. But yes, as far as Chrome is concerned, you would need to install that.
Yeah, no, I don't
have
have any. I was going to check with another browser, but on this computer, I actually didn't even download any other browsers because.
So if you've got a browser and you've got a whole load of tabs open, this is going to stop you from having to worrying and think, oh God, I've got to close all the tabs because everybody will see what I'm doing.
Right. Or you won't have to pause sharing, restart, and as you're switching. Yep.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay. We can now block copy and downloading of files in meeting chat. Right now, if someone pops a file into the meeting chat, anyone who is in that chat can download it, apparently. So that will, it's not just that, it's screenshots, it's images. And then they say, this setting controls Zoom application features, but cannot prevent participants using external screen capture tools, right? Taking photos of screens or utilizing other methods.
Sorry,
Screen
David,
scraping.
what does this mean for you that you can open the file, but you can't copy it or download it? Because up until now, all we had to do was not allow copying of making files available in the chat.
I don't know. So I'm going to put an image in the chat. Now you all should be able to just open that, right? And you so maybe, So when you click on it, it just opens in preview for me.
Yeah, but it's also got a download button.
And there's a download button next to it, right? Yeah. So they can take the download button away, but if it opens in preview, I can save it. So how do you open something and not be able to save it? That's an interesting question. Wow, I don't know. And by the way, this feature has to be enabled by Zoom. So it's not even going to be available for everyone. That's interesting. I don't know. Automated local recording start upon host approval. During a meeting, when participants request to start a computer recording, they see a notification explaining their computer recording will start automatically once the host approves their request.
Yeah, this has been a big problem, David, in the community.
Because... So and that is that if you were to request, I would give you permission, then you have to click again.
Then you have to click again to record, and a lot of people don't realize that, and they request permission to record, and then they complain in the community that it was never a recording, and that's because it was a two-stage process.
Wow. So that's fascinating because I don't think I would want it to start automatically. Like I would want to.
Well, that's the other side of the story, isn't it? Yeah. You want to. You ask for permission to record, but you don't want to record everything. So you want to be able to record and then stop and then record. So this is a good example of there's one group of doing it one way and one group of doing another way. And one team has now taken control of the argument and it's going to be swapped in their favor.
I've never actually thought about that because using any of the Zoom tiles, Zoom ISO, you request for permission and you get it and you get your Zoom tile starts straight away. You don't even think
Yeah,
about
but Zoom
it.
tile, that's because Zoom Tiles starts the recording.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I've never thought about it because it was so obvious to me. I have permission, but I still have to record. Yeah, so. But
Yeah,
like you
that is
said,
interesting.
John, that's the other side have got the hold of the thing. But if I can just go back, you talked about new buttons just now. And when you mentioned that, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking I would really like the breakout room buttons to change its behavior. In other words, if a breakout rooms are open, then the breakout room button icon should appear in the Zoom menu so that people who leave the breakout rooms, get kicked out or whatever, see how to get back in without coming and asking, how do I get back into the breakout room? You say, click on the 3 buttons that say more. You'll find the breakout rooms. Oh, yes, I can see it now. It would be so much easier if when breakout rooms are active, the button appeared and all the participants menu instead of them having to look for it when the breakout rooms are active.
But it could be in the bottom, couldn't it? It doesn't that depend on how you've organized your toolbar?
99% of people don't organize their toolbars, David.
Oh, of course, yes. But I guess so. Are you saying that by default it falls under the more, and so that's where it's gonna.
Yep.
That's where it's gotcha. So if I'm right, so if I'm using something, this is a silly example, but let's say for a moment that the mute button was not persistently in the bottom bar. If I, as the host, unmute you, that button should show up in the bar. Same thing with screen share.
Absolutely.
Or breakout rooms rather.
It context-wise, it applies to you. So
Yeah.
So it should be
That's
available.
interesting. The menu bar is not context aware. You're right. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yes. There is a new dedicated appearance section. Well, thank goodness. I need, before I come on, to
Sorry, can you
fluff
say
my
that again?
hair.
Can you say that again clearly, please? Because I heard there's a dedicated nude appearance section.
Yes, that's a new feature in Zoom. Da-na-na-na-na.
The show just took a turn.
It just took a turn.
Well, that's
Appearance.
that's
a
improved
new dedicated appearance section with portrait lighting and touch up my appearance and adjust for low light and iOS center stage.
Our watch time on YouTube just went up, by the way, David. Keep it up.
Did it really? Okay. This one I don't understand. I thought we had this. AI avatars that move and react like the user, offering both realistic and stylized options generated from a photo and animated in real time using the camera feed. It processes facial data to create a photorealistic digital representation, and then you can make your avatar in the back. I don't know if we'll get 3 minutes of this like we do with the other avatar thing, but I mean, we already have these silly little avatars that follow our mouth, right? Where is it? I'm trying to get to it. You go to video effects and settings. Isn't that where it is? Avatars. Yeah. So here. Whoops. Let me pull this down here.
Yeah, but it
So
only
here
really moves your head and your mouth. And
No,
they're saying facial
understood,
expressions.
understood.
I want to know how you
Right.
make a cow smile now. This is looking. I'm
Right,
looking
so-
forward to this.
Right. So this is, that's not going to work. I have to, it kind of did work actually. So, but it's not interesting. It's not actually moving its mouth. Maybe that's because it can't see until I do this. There we go. So I can't make it smile. Oh, I can make it smile actually. When I smile, he smiles.
Yeah, but I think you need to go back and read that again because it says realistic and stylized. So
I understand that. Right. It's going to have the realistic one. But didn't we also have, goodness, I thought we had custom avatars. We do. It's not realistic, but yeah, we have custom avatars. So is this going to be Uncanny Valley avatars?
They
Is that what
have.
we're talking about
I
here?
think I've seen some comments about this somewhere. I can't remember where. Otherwise, I'll look it up for you. And there were three options. There was a photorealistic-ish type of image. There was a cartoony type of image, and then there was one sort of in between.
I have way too much hair in my avatar. I'm just noticing that right now. Compared to John, I do not have this much hair.
You've obviously customized your avatar with too much hair then.
Well, I know, but I need to now, and I need. It's bothering now. It's bothering me. I'm going to edit my avatar because it's really bothering me. Hair.
Okay. I'll just have a look for the haircut API and see if we can apply it.
What? No, I don't need an API. I just need less hair. Short hair. Apply. That's so much better. Now we're like twins. Okay, well, this was fun. So in any case, so that's coming. Boy, Uncanny Valley. You can switch between avatar and live during meetings. You can delete the avatar and associated data. I wonder how much that's going to cost. I mean, it does not say here that it's going to cost anything, but I wonder. Because remember, right now, the avatar for clips, don't you get like 3 minutes or something? I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. This sounds interesting also. Bypass waiting room for organization accounts.
That's been there for a while.
Has it?
Yeah, it's an option in the meeting settings. So if someone's in your domain, they'll just go in directly, and if you have guests, then they come in through the waiting room.
So this says the meeting host can opt to automatically admit participants from any account connected within their org, while external participants, it sounds like it's the same thing, but I don't know. This looks like they think it's new. Hey, Tony, what's up?
I was hoping that before you leave today that you might do a quick run through on how you're using Zoom and Ecamm together, just for those people who may not be aware of this, I think, amazing way in which you're using Zoom and Ecamm together.
I'm happy to, except this is not how I usually use Zoom and Ecamm. So, I mean, there are essentially two ways to do it. And this is true, by the way, not just for Ecamm, it's true for any of these. Mimo Live, it's true for vMix probably, I think. Essentially, one is when Zoom is integrated into the app, when they built using the SDK, when they built Zoom into the app, that's one way. Or you can just use the virtual camera. So that's what I'm doing now. So for Zoom Test Kitchen, I open the traditional Zoom app and I use the virtual camera from Ecamm coming in. So I've got over here, I've got Ecamm open, I've got Zoom open, and I'm just sending whatever stylized stuff I'm doing over here on my screen. In Ecamm, I can send that right into Zoom using a virtual camera, which is essentially a software camera. When with Ecamm that's built, with Zoom that's built into these services, you essentially don't need to open Zoom at all because Zoom is built in. So you can see right down here, this is my Zoom panel for Ecamm. And if I start a new meeting or I can join a meeting by link or the meeting ID, and I have all my scheduled meetings here also, and I can just join them right from here. And when I do that, it opens a regular old Zoom meeting window for me, just like a normal one. There are a few differences. I don't have access to apps within Zoom and a couple of other things, but that's not a limitation of Ecamm. It's a limitation of the SDK from Zoom or the API. I never know which one it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Any of these tools can either have direct integration using the API or the SDK, or they can use a virtual camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let's see what else. So the
David,
last,
David,
yes,
can
sir.
can you just show, because I think that's one of the questions that I've been getting from people that come on conferences with me. Because Ecamm allows you to do a lot of things just for yourself using the virtual cam. In other words, the way you position yourself to share your presentation with you, and those sort of features are really attractive. Oh, those sort of things. And I think those are things that people, not producers, but presenters, which I think most of people are looking for. If you could just talk through that a bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's how, so, and it's interesting. We were talking about screen sharing because I never screen share in Zoom ever, 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 ever. For two reasons. One, because up until, I shouldn't say up until recently, it's been there for a while, but you had very limited ways to stylize what people saw. And even when you stylize it, not everyone sees the same thing, because ultimately Zoom is a radically democratic, at least in my estimation, it's a radically democratic tool, which allows people to determine on their own what they see. Well, sometimes I want to tell people what to see. And so using a tool, a third-party tool like this, allows you to create scenes like this. And this way, as long as all these checkboxes are checked, as long as you have a good enough computer so that it's not slowing down and getting too hot, as long as you have good internet connection, as long as you've got HD turned on in Zoom, all those different things, as long as you're spotlighting, thank you, Mike, so much, then the text comes across relatively clearly, I think. If you're getting fuzzy text, then there are a million different reasons why that could be happening. But if you check all your boxes, it usually comes across pretty clearly. So yeah, and you can build different scenes and kind of move things around. I almost never share something really text heavy, but when it is, I almost always do this to put the text front and center. When I'm just sharing something, maybe that is a little more graphical, I might do something like this. But yeah, for teachers and presenters, a tool like this, combined with just one Stream Deck, even a 15-button Stream Deck, and I really only use like 3 scenes. The 3 scenes that I use, I never use this one. I use this one, I use this one, and I use this one. That's really it. So you don't even need a Stream Deck. You can get this Stream Deck app on your phone. Have one of these third-party tools. Get the little Stream Deck app on your phone. You can have up to 6 free buttons, and there you go. Like yeah.
David, do you bring comments up onto the screen when you're doing anything?
Oh, sure.
That's one thing. Lower thirds.
So I can't do it now.
Q&A.
I can't do it now because I'm not in Ecamm for Zoom. But when I join a meeting through Ecamm, I have access to all the Zoom. Boy, for years we were using Stream Ninja, Video Ninja. What's it called? Ninja.video, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering. What is it called? Is it Ninja.video?
Video Ninja.
Video
Ninja, yeah. Which allowed us to grab. I remember working with him actually and saying, "Hey, can we get Zoom comments in?" And he built that for us. You had to join from a web-based browser, and now it's just built in natively. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that it's still quite popular for him as well. That service is, it's still being used quite a lot.
If you're not using one of these tools, it's a fantastic. If you're using it like a hardware switcher, it's a fantastic way to just get a URL and be able to throw that over. So yeah.
Part of the reason I wanted you to share that is because, first of all, you're doing that by yourself, and there's not a team. I think that's absolutely amazing that you're able to do that, and I think that the audience would get benefit from actually seeing it. We're seeing it all the time, and a lot of us know that you're using Ecamm, but somebody just tuning in on YouTube may not know.
Look, Ecamm is absolutely, and I'm always afraid that I don't want to sound like I'm selling something. So I always try and say Ecamm or Mimo Live or any of it, because they all do a lot of the same things. But the truth is Ecamm is absolutely the guts of it, but I got to tell you, it's also Stream Deck. It's also having multiple monitors. Like a silly thing like that, having multiple monitors is really important. It's um, it's just it's a bunch of different pieces put together that make it work really seamlessly, which is kind of amazing. That like I don't, a lot of people look at, I don't even know if this will work, but let's see if this will. Yeah. A lot of people will look at this and say, oh my God, that's overwhelming. It's too much. It's whatever. I have to tell you that everything has a place, everything has a purpose. And like, this is simple. Having the right tools in the right places, just, it allows me to focus on doing this, on talking and schmoozing and learning and all that good stuff. Except when my buttons stop working. One of my buttons just stopped working. Robert, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that what you're talking about are the tools, but what you need to add on to that is the skill set and the mindset of David Paskin, because not everyone is built to be able to concentrate on what he's saying, delivering things, and switching his own show. You are very unique in this way, David, and as much as people can use the tools, I, for example, switch a lot of shows, but I can't participate in those shows.
Alex Lindsay used to say that, I probably still does, that you can't do everything because something will suffer. And I didn't like it when he said that, because I am that guy who tries to, who likes to do everything, but he's also right. I mean, you're right that because I've spent a little bit of time and and I'm blessed and lucky and, first world problems to have the right tools. I am able to multitask like that, but he was also right that I'm not always fully present, because, like I just said, a button wasn't working. So that threw me for a moment. John and Tamara, go ahead. We can't hear you, John. You're unmuted, but for some reason.
Oh,
That's
this is,
interesting. Oh, there you go.
again, back to not knowing how to use my technology. This is not my studio. I think that when I was dealing with students, I said, if you're going to have to do your own control, then pre-production makes all the difference. And so that's what I've done with Mimo Live, but I've also done it with Ecamm, is that you could do a run of a show, and if all you're doing is pushing a button, then that's not a load on you, and you can focus on who you're talking to and what you're doing. But if you're going to be doing any more than that, and just like even in Zoom, if all you want to do is a simple screen share, that becomes very problematic. So, I mean, there's different tools. What I do when I have to, quote, do it on the fly, and I'll see if I can make it work here. I'm going to grab a window and let you see my horrible mail.
But by the way, what John's doing right now, sorry, John, I just wanted, so that kind of narrating production, that's what I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to like, I want to, when I'm teaching or doing something like that, I don't want, and people do this all the time. It's natural. It's become part of the way we do Zoom is, okay, I'm going to screen share. I probably do it in here too. Okay, let me click like, I don't need to know. Like, you don't need to narrate to me what you're wearing. So having the buttons and knowing where everything is allows you to do a little bit less of that. I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean to.
No, and but I was saying it's very different if it's called on the fly. And I mean, I really like Qcam Presenter because I can do more stuff on the fly because all I'm doing is pulling up a screen or getting rid of the screen and there's less strokes. But if I want to do something that's really a produced show, my weapon of choice now, I shouldn't use that term, it was politically wrong. My tool that I use right now is primarily Mimo Live because that communicated to me because of its Photoshop, and it has its own control panel And rather than using my Stream Deck, I'm using my iPad as a control panel, so I can actually put pictures of people in there, and I can make the buttons any size that I want. But I think this is a debate that you always have, because you want to have as much control as you can, but you really want to be able to reduce the cognitive load. So if you've ever seen a juggler spinning plates, many times that's what I feel people are doing when they're trying to do it all. And yes, you could keep them going, but if one plate falls, then you've totally lost your audience, you lost your train of thought. But
It's
David, could you get back to a picture of your set?
Oh, sure.
Yours for a second?
Yeah.
Because I just realized I'm missing the A&W root beer.
Yeah, that's what you're missing right there.
Up to this point, I thought.
See, what I really should show you is, I don't know if my camera will go down there. What I really should show, let's see if I can do this. Will it go down there? Yeah.
Don't tell us you have a whole keg of it.
Yeah, I got my entire fridge. And then I got backups over here. I got the cases down there. So
that is awesome.
I would like to talk to everyone here. I think we need to do an intervention.
It used to be Diet Coke.
Of all the things.
It used to be Diet Coke, and then my wife had a fit because there was too much caffeine. So this is caffeine free and sugar free. So there you go.
Of all the things we know about David, we're going to intervene on his drink of choice.
What else? There's nothing else to intervene on. What are you talking about? You make it sound like I'm like a drug addict or something.
I'm just saying, create a program every 5 minutes. I'm just saying there's other addictions you have that are worse than your caffeine.
There are other addictions I have.
Diet drink.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for David to actually get the latest Stream Deck. We're still waiting for that too.
Well,
that ain't gonna happen.
Our friend Philippe with Inside the Stage.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and this is the one trick ponies. He started with magicians, and their whole thing is focusing on getting the attention of the people. And he's come up with this don't look down model, which is using the Stream Deck and just the star that you need and a foot pedal. So I mean, I think, as you were describing all the different things you said, that's the art of what you're doing. If you can do it enough that it becomes a habit and instinctive, then you could do a lot of these things. We just went the SMPTE, which is the Society of Television and Motion Picture Engineers. We just did a tour to Chase Center, and they had over 300 screens in that hall. They had the music connected to the LED lights. They went through all this thing, and they went through, then they have the mist or foam that comes down when the stars run through. The players run to the court, but it has to be cleared, because if it's not totally cleared by the tip of the ball, then the players are affected. And we said, well, how do you do this? And they said, well, there's this button, so somebody has taken all of that.
Right.
And
automated
you'd be
all of it.
amazed what happens. And I think that's the challenge for us who are trying to do these things. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. There's a lot of practicing, but then there's a lot of reducing the friction. And back to the work that I was helping the doctor with the IV. His whole thing was that the distortion in sound, even the distortion of seeing a lens in the teleprompter, is enough for your brain to go, oh, wait, this isn't how it normally is. And for some of us, we hit squirrel. Some of us have less of attention span than others. But I do think you're as good at it because you're doing it today. You're doing it Thursday night. We've seen you on the Monday show.
Well, John, it's interesting when I train eCam folks, I say to them, sorry, Zoom Test Kitchen. I say to them, don't ever join a Zoom without eCam, even if you don't need it. Just always use the same systems over and over and over again, so that your muscle memory kicks in. You know what we do need? I could use a button for, and it's a problem with the diet root beer. Is I have to go to the bathroom like all the time. So if we could, John, can we get a Stream Deck button?
Which
for
John?
that?
There's two of us.
John Drinkwater. I need a Stream Deck button for that, please.
Well, I think
Just
that's
the one?
so appropriate, John, and drink water.
For going to the
now
I
we're
need
really
a button for going to the bathroom, please.
Well, I'll supply
just
that
go back
after
to
you've
your
got
work.
the
Go back to-
robotic arm, so you've got your button to sip as well.
Right. Tamara, Hasmuk, Tony, take it.
I just wanted to say to David that one of the reasons why you're so good at it, and I've been on many things with you now in lots of different situations. One of the things that makes you a genius at running it by yourself is your ability to kind of manage failure, because you're very, very comfortable in going, oh, I just made a mistake. No problem. Let me do this. And that makes the audience comfortable. And that's something that most people can't do. And if you can manage failure, then you can manage it on your own, because it's not a problem. It's just kind of part of the things, and the audience doesn't care. They're not like, oh my God, he put up the wrong screen. And I think that really is a secret sauce to running it by yourself, and something that you are so able to just bring us along that we don't feel like we're seeing mistakes.
We're the David
part of
fan
your
club here.
process. Yeah, exactly.
But if you
That's
want to
because
see
he
him
has
in
more.
action, look
I mean,
what
this
happened.
is crazy.
Yeah, but
I mean,
last
sometimes
week
you
when
press wrong buttons. You can't. It happens every once in a while. You're going to press the wrong button, and you shoot, you just have to.
But you're
But-
so
but-
good at it, though.
But the
Press
show
the
last
button.
week when you were, I'm trying to think, it was the Stream Deck, and they
Yeah,
had
the
technical
Tuesday show
issues.
when Bill couldn't hear.
Tuesday
Yeah.
show, Bill, and it was seamless. And that's, being quick on your feet and knowing what you were going to do.
Okay, let's. Can we change the subject now? I'm getting a little
We love this
uncomfortable.
subject.
That's great. Hasmuk, go ahead. God, have a question.
You change
Zoom,
it to the
please.
David Peskin show instead of
Sure,
Zoom
exactly.
Test Kitchen. Yeah. Just an odd one. Last week we spoke about I should not use the internet clicker option to give somebody remote control on the slides.
For security, right? They were saying.
Yeah. And the suggestion was I do that within Zoom. Is that through the, how do I activate that? I've been looking for it. Is it through the share screen option and giving somebody remote control? Is that the way to do it?
So let's. Yeah.
You can show me that?
Yeah, let's do that. Tony, are you okay if we play here for a few minutes in this sandbox, and then we'll jump over to you?
I just wanted to say that you have inspired me to make sure that going no, seriously, going from now on, I am going to embrace using Mimo Live with all of the worship services, because that is the way in which I will get better at it. And so that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm with you 100%. Yep. All right, so I'm just looking for a slide deck I can pull up here. Here we go, trainings. Okay. So I'm opening up a slide. This is it's a Keynote. We'll see if that works with Keynote. All right, boom, and play. Okay, so now I have that running, and now I'm going to come over and share my screen. And boom. So you all should be seeing, yeah, you are. It just says, what is hybrid? So now let's play. I have at the top of my share screen something that says slide control. You might have that also. So if you do, someone should click it, and let's see what happens. Hasbrook, do you want to click it? Do you see slide control somewhere?
Nope.
No, you've got to give permission to somebody.
No. Hasmuk, if you
No.
Just a minute. If you go down to click on the three dots next to David Paskin's screen in the sort of the browser view, the top of the screen, you'll see an option there that says request remote control.
Oh, okay, got you.
But I'm not sure that's the same as slide control. Remote
Here we
control,
go.
I think, is something different. So a username Hasmuk is requesting remote control of my computer. If I
No.
approve, this person will be able to view and interact with your screen, install software, or change settings.
My mistake. Sorry.
Respectfully, I'm going to decline that request. So I, though, have...
Dang, I'm so disappointed.
Sorry. I have, as the sharer, I have a button that says slide control, and then it gives me a list of all the participants in this meeting. It says assign slide control privileges. So I'm going to click Hasmuk. Oh, for goodness sakes. It's making me open my system settings so that Zoom can control my screen. Not sure why that wasn't turned on to begin with, but let me go and make sure that's on. Zoom, okay. Use password. Hopefully I won't have to restart anything. It doesn't look like I do. So slide control. I've already clicked on you, Hasmuk.
Mm-hmm.
And now you should have access to the slides now.
Okay, here we go. Well, I'm on the screen and I'm saying next and nothing's happening.
Let me see if I say next, what happens. Yeah. All right. Something should be happening. It shows me on my side, it says that you do have control.
Well, I'm not sure because I'm in the Zoom window itself and I don't quite know what control means.
Have you tried your just the right and left arrows? I wonder if...
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Okay.
did.
Oh, okay.
And it just gives me a bleep, 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 as you may or may not hear.
Hasmuk, can you just click your on that screen with your mouse so that the computer knows that that's the app that is meant to be active?
I did that as well. Nope.
Do you, Hasmuk, do you want to open something and then give me slide control and I'll see what I can find?
Let's see. Okay.
So I'm going to stop slide control for you and I'm going to stop my share.
Okay. Let me find the keynote somewhere.
Yeah. And
But I think this, my workflow is sometimes I cut the show, the meaning that I have maybe the talent and the slide in a two-up. And then that talent is controlling the slide with internet clicker. But if I have to use screen sharing, then that kind of obviates the ability to cut the show that way. That means a two-up.
Oh, well, right. If you're, I mean, this will only work if you're doing screen sharing within Zoom.
Yeah. So, like you said earlier, never ever we use screen sharing.
Well, I never use it, but that's because I, like I use a third-party tool, right?
I don't use screen sharing at all.
Right.
So
then
I'm always cutting the show.
I mean, right. We may still want to go down this rabbit hole to figure out how it works. But Robert, I'm going to actually, if you're okay, I'm going to give you slide control so you can poke around a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
I did a whole show on this, David, last week, coincidentally.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So-
amazingly, just to worry you, we took a whole hour to go through everything.
Yeah.
So you should have a overlay on the bottom left of your screen when it's being shared, and you can see that that you've got the clicker control.
No, I don't have it.
So I've definitely given Robert permission. I'm going to give someone else permission. I'm going to give my other computer permission. Okay. So I gave this other computer permission. Yeah, and I don't see any controls either. I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. I
David,
have indeed. Let me share
Yes.
it with John.
share it with me.
Okay, and Mike. So I've given now 4 different people should have control of my of my slide deck.
Anything to do with host or co-host?
Say again?
Anything to do with host or co-host status with the person you share?
I don't know. I mean, Mike is co-host, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll let you know when when I get access to it. So I'm trying to find the share right now, and the share tab is not coming up for me.
So it's
The-
you should be able to, if you click on the top, request remote control. No. On the top, you should have two, unless you're in multi, should have two tabs. The screen and then the meeting. Yeah, there's no way to control this. At least not that I can see.
Right. Okay.
John
There we
Edelson, not John Edelson, sorry. John Drinkwater, I also gave you access. Can you see the controls?
No, it doesn't look like you have given us access from what we're
Yeah.
looking at.
I mean,
The
it
only thing that
says-
I can request right now is I can request remote control from that
no,
share.
it says, my screen says 4 people can control slides. 4 participants can control slides. Could this be a keynote thing?
I think it could be, yes.
Yeah. Because John, we did it with PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, we use
So let
PowerPoint.
me try it with
Yeah, and I've done it with PowerPoint.
let me open up slides, Google Slides, and see if that works.
According to Zoom, this feature is supposed to work with PowerPoint, Keynote, and Google Slides. But what I can't figure out what's going on is that once you give the people the permission, a control should show up in, I believe, the lower left. Let me read what it says here.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
correct.
so
That's
the
what
lower
happened
left.
to John and I this week.
Yeah. So for some reason,
Shall I
it
do one,
thinks you
David?
did
Because I
that.
know it works on my system, and then you can try that.
Well, we can. Hold on one second. I have a where's screen share? I have a, what do you call it? Up. There we go. All right, so I'm going to share this. All right, so I'm now sharing.
It's there. I
Okay,
got it
now I can see it. Now we can all see it.
It's a keynote thing. Okay, it's a keynote thing. Well, that's good to know. SlideShare does not work with Keynote.
No, it's supposed to work with Keynote, but there's different ways you could, if you're dual screen or single screen and you get into player mode. So yeah, it is a undocumented feature because I've used it with Keynote.
Gotcha. Okay, but Hasmik, do you see, is it working for you now? No. Oh, that's because I didn't share with you. Now it's working with you. Look in the bottom left of the share screen.
It almost looks like an overlay that you put up, like a lower third overlay.
Yeah, it's above the video button, but under the slide or over hangs over the slide, depending on your connection.
Yes, sick. I'll just.
Are you seeing what I'm drawing on it? Or is that just local?
Not yet, John.
Now
Yes,
we are.
Now we do.
Sorry about that.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you
fine.
don't see the drawing
Oh,
until you
yeah,
finish the drawing.
Yeah, I got it now. Here we go.
Great.
Now I have to
So that
erase
was-
it all.
So in a perfect organized world, you can now take all of your presentations that your presenters are doing, put them into one great big long presentation, and then you can just hand control across. This is what Zoomies do. So they have one big presentation for the whole event, and they just hand control from one person to another, and the slides keep going. So of course, that means that you don't have that problem where you've got a presenter and they've got to share their slides, and then they say, "Can you see it?" And you got all that fuffing around because it's just shared once and it just goes on and on and on.
Do you know what
And
I
David,
didn't?
And
Sorry, you
David,
know what I
FYI, what you're showing right now is you overlaid
It's
on
not
top
going
of
to
shared.
YouTube.
Never.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so in Zoom, so I didn't know this. In the share bar, there's now a layout button that opens a presenter layout pop out. Excuse me. Before, if I remember it correctly, this was only available in the share modal, the share screen. Now it's its own little pop out, which I love. And I can change it from sharing content only to over the shoulder. And no one in YouTube is seeing this, and I apologize, or as background. So it keys me out, or side by side, which is really nice.
And the other
And you
thing,
could-
David, is you don't have to stop that share to start another. So you can start another share, and then when you activate it, it will replace your existing share.
So let me see here. I can. The only button I have is stop share. Oh, there's a pause. That didn't actually pause anything.
Yeah, it did. I'm not able to do annotation now. But what was clever is I was seeing my little arrow that I put there, unpause us.
Yeah.
And now I can move this technically. Nope. Yeah, no, hold on. I need to redo this. 1 second.
But pause doesn't actually stop the screen share, it just stops what people are interacting with.
Doing, but you could see me moving the arrow around.
Yeah. So if I click, okay, so the way to share a new screen is you just click share again. You click the share button.
Right,
again.
but go ahead and do a different layout. Notice I'm moving this arrow back and forth, but you're just supered over the layout. Do your other layout.
Yeah, I just did. Oh wait, I have to do it here. I'm sorry.
Where you were on the
Layout.
side, not.
Yeah.
And although it's hard for me to see it, I'm still moving the arrow around.
Yeah.
Which is, I didn't realize it would do that. This was cool. I assume it's showing up for everybody.
It is. It's sticky to the screen share. Yeah. So so I clicked on share again, and now I can change what I'm sharing. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, and I didn't have to get out of the share. That was nice. So the way to do that is you just click share again.
But aren't we doing your keynote now?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so the keynote is working because I'm being able to put the arrow.
That was work that you can annotate on it. It's the control that we didn't have.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So in my use case, this is not going to work.
If it's not a screen share, right?
Yeah.
Unless Hasmuk, you actually do it on a separate machine.
Yeah, I mean, the way we do the slides are running on a separate machine. So what you're saying is give them remote control access to that machine.
Yeah, give them slide control of that machine, and you can turn off slide control when the speaker's not doing the presentation, and you can activate it for the person who is.
Yeah,
and it works really well in Production Studio because you can have your screen share scene, and you can have your screen share scene with the speaker, and you can mix that all up as well.
So even in a smaller production, when I do it at the hospital, we take a separate laptop on which we have the slide deck, and so it's never on the same machine because the main production machine is doing the cutting of the show, meaning two up or, yeah. We talked a little bit earlier about Mimo Live and what David is using, Ecamm. And John mentioned Mimo Live as well. I'm just wondering how steep a learning curve it is. John, I'm asking you because I know this is now out of Zoom, but I haven't figured out how to integrate Zoom and Mimo Live because I'm quite keen to bring the cooking show back, but I don't want to haul all the gear from office to the kitchen because I use a teleprompter. when I was doing a cooking show, there were 3 cameras or multi-cameras. So I thought if I dive into either Mimo, well, I've got Mimo Live or even Ecamm, it would really be more software switching rather than hardware switching.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean,
How feasible would that be?
well, let's look at it this way. We have the office hours morning show, and we have the Monday show,
Yeah,
and we have the Thursday show,
sure.
and they're using 3 completely different software switching processes,
Got you.
but they look the same. So the first step would be, how do you want it to look? Because so many times people have their show look like the tool can use it. Much better
Yes.
for you to say, we want this sort of camera shop, we want that. I've been thinking the same thing because Bobby misses the cooking in the kitchen, and I've got the Ethernet connectors. And I'm trying to think what the lowest weight tool would be to do this. I own both Ecamm and Mimo Live.
And
Mimo
Zoom.
Live is a little easier for me to use, but that's just because it's like your first date. You know it better. Yeah, okay. Robert's
now I
gonna
know
give you a
what-
hard
now
time.
I
There's
know
a
what-
bad joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
now
sure
I
there
know
is.
what keeps John young. Okay.
Yeah, but I actually Guy Cochran was looking at somebody who was coming up with and Robert's shaking his head there, a person who had 3 Osmos cameras,
I saw that.
and
yeah.
these were being, and so it maybe wouldn't have passed the office hours, whatever level of production, but it sure was fun watching him cook those steaks.
Yes.
So I think for us, whether it's perfect or not, I would love to figure out how we could do more of these cooking shows. Very selfishly, I got to eat stuff that I would never be allowed to eat because, well, I had to, was the show. It wasn't on my diet. And then I also got a healthier diet because your wife's cookbook is probably one of the healthiest cookbooks that we cook regularly from. If I were to look at Mimo Live, it would have the ability of letting you configure the iPad to whatever you want and let you distribute the camera control, the audio, and the video to separate iPads. And that's why we were using it with the state parks, because we had extra people, we could do those things.
Right.
When I started with Ecamm, the Ecamm that's out now is very different than it was a year ago.
Right.
And they have such a large community that there's pretty much anything you want to do, you could do in Ecamm. Pretty much anything you want to do, you could do in Mimo Live. But I'm trying to think, what can I do so we don't have to have that many, because you could never have too many cooks in the kitchen the way I look at it. So
Yeah.
how can we make it so?
No, it's not just a cooking show, because the show itself, everybody will be joining in through Zoom. So everybody will be in Zoom. And so the main thing is both for the cooking show, even when I'm hauling things back up the hospital, I'm taking a ATEM and I'm taking a screen to have a multi-view, and it's just a rig that I have to set up. And I thought, if I can use tools or have a software switching solution rather than a hardware switching solution for certain shows, it would be, there'd be incentive to set it up quickly. Whereas I had to ask the hospital to give me a cupboard where I can store a lot of the stuff, so I can stop hauling my cables and my ATEM switcher and the screens and so on and so on. So I've been thinking really hard about using software switching.
Well, Robert's got his hands up, but I'll just, two cents. Zoom Production Studio is getting pretty amazing, and the new liminal graphics. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So it may be the fewer things you have to use. So yeah, I love Mimo Live. I love Ecamm. I love my ATEMs. But if I can just use standard Zoom stuff, and all I need to do is walk into a room and go to the Zoom Production Studio, and pull my graphics off of the Zoom graphics, then I could see if I could even do it on this new little weak computer. Off to Robert.
Yeah, I would really recommend to study the extra hours with Guy Corcoran at that cookery thing, because I was fascinated by that, because what they did effectively, they had one MacBook Pro, two DJI Osmo cameras. One of them has a monitor that is turned around backwards, so it's forward, so the guy could see himself, how he's positioning himself in the camera
Right,
when
gotcha.
showing things. And the other camera was just focused down and it's a PTZ that was controlled through eCam. So it could go to the cooking board, to the cutting board, to the frying pan, and it was absolutely brilliant. And look at that, it's got a MacBook Pro and two cameras and two of these microphones that were attached, also DJI remote.
But everybody watching the show, they were in Zoom, right?
No, they were
This was a YouTube.
it was being streamed to YouTube.
Oh, it was being streamed to YouTube.
Yeah, but you can imagine that all you need to do is have one connection to Zoom, and have someone else managing all of the attendees.
Yeah. I'm thinking more
what
and
was
more
fun
of
with
the,
that, though, what I was going to say is because there's people who have the Pocket 3s. It's one of the most popular camera out there. There's people who have various action cameras. So you could not only configure it that the host is doing it or the cooker, but one of the exciting things when we did the cooking show was it wasn't only your stove and food. You got to look at all of us and what we were doing.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that the solution I'm trying to carve out is whether I'm doing the cooking show or whether I'm doing the show at the hospital. I need to use the same tools and workflow. So, I mean, what I did in the hospital is I took 3 cameras, and so the one camera is on the talent, the other camera is the general audience in the auditorium. So there are 80 or 90 people in the auditorium, and my lens is a 30 something 18, so it's not wide enough to cover the entire auditorium. Then I had another camera with a much longer lens, which would focus on somebody asking the question. And the people online are absolutely thrilled because now they can have almost a 2-up or a 3-up. So they can either see the audience or the talent and somebody who's asking the question. So that the folks in the Zoom session are actually having a more immersive or a connected experience. Now, so clearly this is a hybrid event. So what I do is that the talent uses the auditorium mic, and I have my own mic that feeds the Zoom session. And then they have a roaming mic for people asking the question. I take a feed from that as well. So what's happened is that they had participants in this, what they call grand round once a week, probably 8, 10, maybe 15 people. Now it's going to 60, 70 people are online. So, and it's only for this university. That means just the University of Cape Town. And I'm discussing with the head of department and say, why don't you just open it up across all the universities in the country? And maybe you have 200 or 300 people attending this grand round. So I'm trying to, if I'm going to scale this, I don't want to haul all this hardware stuff to do it. You know, I'd rather have some kind of software switching setup. So I don't know. I don't know if you can. I mean, Robert alluded to it. Multicams with any of these tools, whether it's Mimo or Ecamm, that is possible. I assume.
Well, that's what we do with our community access channel. We have city council chambers, which all we have is NDI cameras.
Okay.
There's 4 NDI cameras. and we use one for the main audio feed. We do a second one if they're going to play something, and that goes through an NDI bridge. And the Mimo Live hardware all just sits in their main office. Guy does the same thing with his Mimo Live setup
Right.
in the
Right.
cloud. So
Right.
then at that point, all you need to take to those facilities are your cameras and some Ethernet cord, and hopefully have a really good Ethernet connection.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm already dipped my toes into Mimo Live and have a kind of a understanding of it. My feeling is I should just take that path, or before I traverse that path, should I consider Ecamm?
Well, I've used them both, and they have different advantages. So you should probably play with both of them to see which one it talks to you. I'm going to be doing it in Mimo, but every time we did the cooking show, I had to move everything from my downstairs studio up to the kitchen. So
Right.
I now
Gotcha.
have 6 Ethernet cables that all go down to my studio. So
Right.
all I have to do now is just plug in a camera.
Right. Got you.
And
Gotcha.
so, and then at that point, I'm going to see what I could do with Mimo. I'm going to see what I could do with QCam
Ecamm.
Presenter,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to see what I could do with. I mean, I think this would be good if we had people trying different tools.
Yeah.
And with Robert talking about what Guy did, that really made me really think maybe I'm overthinking it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hasmuk, the beauty about what Guy did was that if you get these 2 DJI Osmo cameras, what effectively you're using is just 2 USB-C ports. So if you're not an NDI person, this becomes a
Yeah.
very, very simple
Right.
solution.
Right.
However, there is a limitation because you can't have that many USB cameras being fed into a MacBook Pro because you need the ports for other things as well. Yeah? So I would think this through in terms of if it is NDI, I think John's solution is brilliant because it is clean. If it's not NDI, then this solution using USB-C ports on for example, a MacBook Pro, and I go back to MacBook Pro because I think that gives you the most number of ports. Ports
It
that
also gives
USB
you a
ports.
fan.
So
Yeah,
so
no,
the one that I
Laugh, but
want
it's
to
important.
the one I want to play with is QCam Presenter because it adds one more thing. It adds the what is it, video pencil.
Yes.
So QCam
Yes.
Presenter can use the camera from the iPad.
Sure.
It could use the camera that's connected to your computer, either the
Right.
one that's there
Sure.
or only
Sure.
one external camera.
Sure.
And it could use a shoot camera. So you could potentially have 4 different camera views and telestrate over any of them. And to me, I'm beginning to think that's telestration is something I want to be able to put in the cooking so you could circle where they're doing something or say, cut the meat this way. And so QCam, if I were going to start the day with something for you to play with, I'd say load up with QCam Presenter because Shoot is a great camera app. The iPad, if you have a good iPad, it's got a front and back camera. And then you have a camera in your computer, but you could also use one of your USB ports for one of the other cameras. So now you've got a 4-camera Shoot that you could draw on all top of them. And it's a very simple user interface. It looks very much like Zoom. Michael Forrest has sort of said this has to be as stupid simple as a Zoom interface. So
Yeah. I think that works for folks, but when we are accustomed to mix effects and ATEM and we cut the show that way, it's tough to drill yourself down. I guess it would be a solution for folks who are not as anal as us in terms of technology. You know, we want to use the. So when I go up to the hospital, I got these 2 Blackmagic cameras or 3 Blackmagic cameras on tripods and my ATEM. It's very impressive for the doctors. And when they see all these numbers increasing, but it's not very impressive for me. I keep hauling the stuff up and down.
Well, you mean you don't want to keep hauling your camera around all the time?
Hey, there you go. So that was my point. Coming back to the Osbot solution that Robert is suggesting. In any of these solutions, I think it's important for me to have at least a 2-up, because often I cut where they're seeing the talent and the slide, or talent and somebody asking the question in the audience. That's what gives the I wouldn't say immersive, but at least for in a hybrid situation, those people who are online, a more connected experience than just having one screen and not anything that's 2-up.
That's not an issue. If on either of these, if it's Mimo Live or Ecamm, you can bring any of the feeds onto the screen.
Yeah. But I'm coming back to your Osbot solution, where if the Osbots are going through USB-C,
Well,
how would you do a 2-up on that one?
It's the same thing. But it's the same thing, Hasmuth. I mean, you're confusing the how do I connect the cameras and what cameras am I using versus what is essentially switching it.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
So,
if
my
you could bring 2 cameras into Mimo Live very easily.
Right. So Mimo Live, and I assume even with Ecamm, all your cameras could be virtual cameras.
No, I think you're thinking about it slightly wrong.
Yes.
Okay. The way you need to think about it is, you have your MacBook Pro, for example. You connect each camera via USB cable to the MacBook Pro,
to the computer,
and MacBook Pro or Ecamm see them as individual sources.
Right.
So once you have individual sources, you can do the layout as you want it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I use a 16-inch MacBook Pro with lots of RAM on it. So, and I think it's a M2. So I got enough power horse in there to actually cut the show.
Yeah, I think what Robert was saying was the point I was trying to make is, at least in Mimo, those 2 cameras, even though there are 2 separate USBs, they'll appear as 2 separate sources to Mimo.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And one thing we did when we had a failback with some cameras, we needed to have 3 cameras. 2 of them failed. They didn't fail with the person with the trimmer that cut the cable. So we instantly needed to get 2 new cameras in. We were running Mimo. We just set up a Zoom meeting. So we had 2 computers. So it was, Zoom didn't care whether it was NDI, USB-C. It just had to be in the camera thing. So we replaced 2 of our NDI cameras when the Ethernet cord was cut by a groundskeeper. But we were able to call. Luckily, we had a good enough bandwidth, because it could have been problematic. And there were some issues because when we were sharing them, there was the Zoom lag versus the direct NDI into it, but we got through it.
Good.
I just needed the road.
Yeah. So Hasmut, let me ask this: What is the main criteria for you switching from your ATEM configuration that you've configured, inside out and backwards, to totally dropping that and going software?
It's hauling the rig every week up to the hospital.
Okay,
or more so, I think government at home would be more tolerant of a software switching solution than a hardware switching solution, because there are just cables everywhere. And in fact, we stopped the cooking show because she just didn't appreciate me setting it up and breaking it down every week. I said, this is way too much work. And obviously, in my enthusiasm for office hours early on in 2021, we just went nuts. I mean, we had 3 cameras, and I had a switcher, and using mix effects, and in fact, so much so that Jonas was controlling the show from Germany. So he was actually cutting the show, and then Tlalak was parked in a Walmart parking lot overnight, and he was actually coloring my black magic real time before the actual cooking show started. So I had to bring out the chart, and oh God. So that's what I mean by sometimes pros don't know the limit. So I'm trying to keep it a very simple setup to answer your question, Mark.
Yeah. I would really go back to that extra hours and study it, because I think that is like a showcase on how to do a cooking. It's the 2 cameras on very simple tripods, PTZs, and it is so brilliant the way they've just been positioned, because you can imagine going just with 2 tripods, putting them on the desk, on the tabletop, yeah. 2 USB cables, because they're powered by the USB cable.
Right.
Okay, so you've got nothing else. Yeah. And you just clip the mic on to the person who's speaking. And Bob's your uncle. You've got a MacBook Pro sitting on the side. Maybe you want an Ethernet cable to the MacBook Pro just for security and safety.
I had a mix pre in the kitchen. I had a headset. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you brought back my pain, because I set the same thing, because we were having all the people having their gear, and it took me 4 to 5 hours to get it set up, which meant the day before, and my wife wanted to prep some of these things and try it. And then counter space was always a challenge. So, I fixed it up now where the Ethernet cables are up on the top of the cabinets, and I basically can do a monopod coming out. And so that it doesn't have, nothing I have has to touch a counter. But I brought the noise assistant, because when we were doing one of them, we needed to turn on the fan to get the, and then once we lost our audio, said, oh, now I need the noise assistant. But now I think Zoom would be good enough that you could turn a fan on your stove, and you probably won't need to worry about it.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it. It's because of that cooking show that I learned how to do a production, and without that experience, because this is so vivid, because when the head of department asked me, how do I port this during COVID from in-person to online? So I actually brought him to office hours and before the show. And I know Guy and Alex were all there, and they explaining to the fellow how to do it. He said, pre-record all your lectures. Don't deliver the lecture in the live session. You don't want 22 lecturers to lecture for an hour each. Pre-record it, let everybody watch it on video on demand, and then the live show is actually Q&A or conversations. And then at the end of the discussion, we say, yeah, but Hashmi can do it. He does a cooking show with us, so he knows how to do this. And that's really how I fell into this plum pudding of managing medical shows. So, yeah.
Well, I learned how to do jambalaya, so we were both winners.
Yeah.
So Hazmat, again, there's pros and cons of what you want to do. Of course, now you've got the learning curve of, the ATEM, as far as you're concerned, pretty inside out and backwards, right?
Yeah.
So you've got the ATEM world, what you're doing there. Now you want to go to a software switcher.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And you will get frustrated on your inputs, right? So you will get to the point where USB, everybody's saying the USB cable is great. True. but again, you only have so long of a cable that you can run it from. Where in the Blackmagic world, your SDI,
I
you're
still,
bringing
yeah,
SDI.
exactly.
Now you
Yeah.
could have that camera 100 feet from you. Well, a USB camera, you're lucky if you're going 20.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So again, you have to take into consideration there's a lot of changes that you'll have to do
Right.
to get it to go from the ATEM world, the hardware world, where you
Sure.
could just sit there and plug everything in. Understanding too that you've also bought Blackmagic gear. So you've already got your ATEM, and your ATEM already talks to your Blackmagic cameras.
I got three items.
And there you go. So, you know, in the regards of footprint is concerned on your table, you know, a laptop and an ATEM Mini Pro look very similar in size, right? So again, yes,
Yeah.
I understand you're hooking up a lot more cables with the ATEM, yes, but now you're going to run into the flexibility of, oh, am I going to be able to get that camera in the same spots that you currently have now using software? And
Well,
you can.
the camera location is the challenge, but an iPad, one of the advantages that I have in my kitchen is we already use an iPad for recipes. It already hangs in multiple places.
Yeah,
So that's where I could do the camera control.
Yeah.
But we're still only thinking about where the outgoing message. A lot of the strength when we were doing the cookie was watching other people cook and see what they were doing.
Sure.
And so it's not only figuring out how to make yours look good,
Yeah.
but what's the simplest thing you could give the people? And that's why I was looking at the QCam, because if they
Right.
did
Yeah,
QCam,
yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, then they could use their shoot camera and could say,
Absolutely.
is it supposed to be boiling over like that?
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asmat, if I can just say one more thing
Yeah.
that goes, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but choosing these Pocket Threes, the great advantage that I see is that if suddenly the frying gets out of hand and you get a spray of fat onto the lens of a Pocket 3, you won't bother about it too much. If it doesn't clean, you'll throw it away and buy another one. If you get a smear of fat over the lens of one of your Blackmagic cameras, you're going to have to give that to someone to clean and refurbish.
Being vegetarian, there's no fat around the place.
Yeah, but whatever it is, whether it's steam or whatever it is,
I know what
the
you're
point
saying.
is that it's a solution that will not cost you a lot if things go wrong.
Sure. Yeah. No, I hear you. I think I need to think maybe the kitchen setup and solution may not be extensible in the hospital side of it, like, you know, the issues of camera distance and being USB. I may be limited, and there I may be still be forced to use a hardware solution. That's fine, and so I think one needs to come up with the correct tools and setup for the kind of production that you want to run.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, Hasbag, absolutely. Again, it's going to come down to, you know, yes, the eCams of the world, the Mimo Lives of the world, the vMixes of the world, the OBSs of the world. See, on I can speak from the PC side, you know, decades ago when we were doing the original versions of vMix, and this is still the way that vMix is suggested to be done now. And even I know Andy's shown this as well, where you actually have an external capture card that is actually taking the actual true SDI inputs in to your PC or Mac, right? So this is the way that vMix, you would actually have a PCI card that actually goes into the actual
Right,
PC itself. And then that is your equivalent to having your SDI inputs on your Blackmagic switcher,
Well, I mean,
right? So that's how you bring the two worlds in then.
I was about
Go
to
ahead, Pete.
suggest that, Mike, because I have, I mean, and Hosmuth knows, I mean, I've got for my kit, for my full kit that I haul around, it's a 2ME with 3 cameras. And out at some locations, Scout Camp, that could be a real pain in the you-know-what to set up. But what I did end up doing was getting one of those, what you were just suggesting, a small Sonnet box with one of the Decklink cards inside of it through Thunderbolt 4 into my MacBook, and that gives me 4 SDI ports into my MacBook, and Mimo Live is quite happy with that. Thank you very much. It sees it as 4 independent sources.
But again, yeah, and that definitely would be a suggestion from my end. If you were thinking of going software, and it's something that it's plagued the vMix world for years, is people trying to bring multiple USBs into a PC. It's just you are either doing
tougher.
It's tougher, and on top of that too, if you plug in 2 USBs into the same USB bus, then all of a sudden you're now limiting yourself to that bandwidth wise on how much is actually available on that chip.
Gotcha.
Right. I don't know how the buses work on Mac, but this is, I could tell you from the vMix world, which has only been PC, that has always been the top problem in the forums for the software. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I just didn't get the information about the cameras. If somebody can just share the link with me, what the cameras are, so that I can look and see how viable that is for the house of worship.
Yeah, I think they mentioned the Osbot, and then John, you mentioned another camera.
DJI.
Well, the one was the Osbot Pocket 3, and that's what was the one that was being used by
guys.
Yeah, but the Osbot Pocket 3 is pretty nice. The Osbot has the whole range. So they have the Osbot Tail 2, which has NDI, SDI, and USB-C and remote control. And they go all the way down. They have the Tiny 3, which is the one that just came out, which is very small with surround sound. That's like $350. And then they have the Osbot SE, which is very small. It's about 1.5 by 1.5 inches. And if you get that in the 1080, it's like $120. So you can have a whole bunch of them around. I'm trying to think what other cameras are doing it. The Hollyland has the Osbot 3 has an integrated microphone receiver. The Hollyland Lyra has an integrated receiver. So that seems to be the trend now, that now you have a camera that you could put a wireless microphone directly into, which the Osbot 3 has also.
Right.
So, John, did you say the Osbot has SDI, HDMI, and USB? Is that what you said?
I believe it's called the Tail 2. Let me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the big one.
Okay.
I have a bad news for you. I saw a notification that Osbot is dropping NDI. It's not going to have NDI available in the future. I was told that I had to activate mine or I would lose it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was for cameras that you already have, but I think they're still going to sell cameras with NDI.
Yet to be determined would be my official answer to that but again, John mentioned this to me, and that is what I ended up seeing, that there was actually a press release related to that on their actual website about NDI.
They're showing on the website that they are still selling the NDI license key for $99.
Yeah, well, they used to give it away for free, so they're obviously renegotiating with NDI.
You used to buy. I have some that I had to buy for $99. Then I've got a couple of them that came in automatically on. I would be very distressed if they stopped supporting it, but I would not be surprised if they ask you to pay for that feature and not have it on all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, just for clarification, I think, John, the Pocket 3 that you're referring to is actually a DJI Osmo, not a...
I'm
not an Osbot.
DJI Osmo versus the OBS spot, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic. It's just a bunch of O's and letters and...
That's it. It all comes down to the O's, going this way and going that way.
And the DJIs, of course, have become very popular because of their wireless mics that everyone
Yes.
seems to be using.
And they're very clean audio.
Very, very cool. All right. So that was a good discussion there, gang, on how to do that stuff. Hasma, more questions. By all means, before you go to sleep to us. Come on, give us some more. Are you doing well when it comes to other corporate stuff too? Because you brought that up last week.
Yeah, so
Good.
it's kind of interesting.
Because see, you've done the 3-camera shoot. So I will tell you
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you've done the 3-camera shoot for cooking.
yeah,
There's really
yeah.
not much of a difference for doing anything else. As soon as you know how to do a 3-camera shoot in any situation, you can do a 3-camera shoot for any type of situation.
Well, I mean, Peter helped me decide on the next step to move to SDI. So I bought the ATM2 Emmy. So that's kind of my permanent setup in my office and our studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
and it's also a beautiful rack mount too that you can take on the road. Very small.
Exactly.
Right.
So from a corporate point of view, that when they do visit us, they do walk out quite awe-inspired, because I still maintain that in South Africa, I'm still the only one who does a synchronous immersive production, because 99% are webinars. So this always seems different. But it's funny how marketing and PRO works. You keep your shoulder to the grind and you keep spading away, and then suddenly the ball just starts rolling. It happens over and over again. You know,
As long as you're on the wrong side of the ball, you're good.
Yeah. So
Physicist, right?
So
is that the guy pushing the boulder uphill and
yeah, so I'm very fortunate. I had this after the mobile company. I had this national gymnasium, and today I got connected by a large financial insurance entity that's gone into banking. So they're opening retail banking, and now they need to train all the staff across all the branches, and they're trying to figure out how the heck they're gonna fast track all of this. And fortunately, my golfing partner sits on the board of this big financial company. And he said, you should go and visit Hashmukh, because he can do up to 1,000 people in your. So they came to see me, and yeah, as I said, the word gets around.
Hasma, you've got to think about it this way too, and at times you may underestimate yourself, but you've got to understand that, you know, when it comes to, let's just take it as entirely online as an example, entirely online. You know, right now, in theory, even though we only have a half a dozen people watching us right now,
Yeah.
the potential is 1 million, if not billions of people, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got to think of it this way, that no matter what production you are doing, especially if it's online, your audience is unlimited. And
Just
I don't
plug
like
your
using that term.
ATEMs into the security cameras, and you've got it all sorted.
Yeah. Well, I think what's happened with I was just helping out the hospital to improve the hybrid production. And when they said to me, well, we have 5 or 6 people that attend, I said, why are you even doing it? You know, what's the point? And so as the numbers increased, what online has done is move them from a very insular thinking to a much more broader thinking. Why don't we do this national? Why don't we do this across the continent? Why? Because the format of the Grand Round is they present 3 cases every week. And each case is obviously a teaching opportunity in terms of not the common things that you would look for, but the way you shift your thinking in terms of particular diagnosis. So, in fact, they had a case last week where the person presented with a drop foot. But in the end, it was a dermatological underlying issue, which was had to go and see the skin guy to solve that problem. So it's trying to open up the view for the health workers to say think laterally and just don't. So it's a very good teaching hospital. I mean, that's where the first heart transplant took place in the 60s.
Yep.
With Chris Barnard. And I'm saying, so now they want to go on LinkedIn. So I'm helping them with LinkedIn postings and then put some of the grand round clips and saying, this is the case we covered. And maybe you want to look at it and come to our online sessions. Yeah.
Cross promotion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again,
It's all-
being the graybeard here, back in the 70s, the operating rooms had a gallery that the doctors could go watch operations.
Yeah.
And the hospital that I was doing my research with learned about television and how they could broadcast it. Room was quite a challenge in that hospital, so they ended up putting all the studio control equipment up where the gallery was. So as a tech, I had to go through scrubs to walk through the operating room to be able to record it.
Yeah.
But it's so different because in 1977, my first video conference was from a Northwestern medical school from that operating room to a ship halfway between San Diego and Hawaii. And to think where we are now with the grand rounds and stuff that you're doing. So it's pretty amazing.
Actually, you know, so there's been a lot of paradigm shifts in just being online. So we have a lot of outlying country doctors who come and train here in Cape Town at Grootskerk. Then they go back to the country, whether it's Zambia, Zimbabwe, or Congo, and then you kind of lose the connection. Now with this online grand round and other events that they can put online, and that's why it's so important for me that the quality of the event, we can show the two up, or at least persons, so they don't just watch this screen with one slide after another. You know, it gives you a feeling of being there when you show the auditorium, or you show somebody who's actually asking the question and you profile them in the show. And I think that makes it much more engaging. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to deliver a kind of a engaging experience.
Yeah.
Well, and we should get you talking to Lux about Stream Alive so that the people remotely can engage.
I did. That's a nice thing about Zoom Test Kitchen. I have so many things that I've put on my Safari to go back, bookmarks.
Well,
I've got
I'm
bookmarks
excited
like
that you're
you can't
talking
believe.
to a banker. You said you golf with a banker and they want training.
Yeah, no, it's. I have a golfing partner. He was actually the MD for Dell Computers in South Africa. And he obviously had to deal with a lot of large businesses. But he sat on the board. He was on the non-executive director on a large financial company. And that company itself is now opening up a retail banking business. And they're trying to catch up. And they've been figuring out now, so how do we fast track training, and how
I think you should pursue that. There's a joke here in the United States. Somebody says, you know, the guy got arrested for robbing a bank. He said, why did you rob this bank? He goes, that's where they keep the money. So
well, you kind of spot on. I said, okay, hey, this is a very successful financial institution. Maybe I need to revise my tariff card. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
Hasmuk, do not underestimate the skill set that you've learned through all the different communities that you're with.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of production people right now that envy you
Look,
because of the fact of how much you know more about Zoom than they do.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. There's a big skill gap between the guys that will lug in transport trailers full of gear into a venue, but couldn't Zoom if their butt depends on it. Okay?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
I'm a great proponent of what I call osmosis. You know, when you keep being exposed to these conversations, you know, you slowly get a perspective and you learn a lot. So I'm very thankful to Office Hours and Zoom Test Kitchen. The combination of the two is unbelievable. So, yeah.
Yeah. So definitely think about, you know, again, there isn't anything wrong. I know software switching and I know hardware switching. So I know we're both lie, and I know where I'm going to go to software for this, and I'm going to go to hardware for that. But if I can go hardware and software, which is also complemented too,
Absolutely.
is that a lot of people will do an ATEM into a vMix, and then vMix is actually the one sending out.
Correct.
Right. So there is that too, right?
Yes.
So you're not giving up your ATEM production, but you're utilizing the extra capabilities that vMix has, graphics, bringing Zoom in, you know, bringing that extra point in. And I've seen many television broadcasts that have done everything in an ATEM, 2ME, 3ME, 4ME unit, but they're still going from there to vMix. Why? Because they're sending it to YouTube.
Right.
If I can just jump in there, we do some big production events with interpretation, and they're hybrid events. And I actually use two ATEMs because I use one ATEM to switch just the cameras, and I use another ATEM to switch the presentation sources. So to that ATEM, I connect a Windows PC with PowerPoint. I connect a Mac with notebook, and I have a HDMI cable available if someone comes and wants to present from their from their own equipment. So those all feed into a soft switch. So that I can put in all of the music, cut the show, and push it through. So there's a lot to say about duplicating those solutions. And one thing I will say, it's really tickled me. I think last year, the amount of people in production that I spoke to, and no one wants to admit that they use OBS, but everyone that I spoke to privately said that they have OBS in their toolkit as a backup software.
Never a bad idea. And again, too, same thing. If you just need a graphic, or you just need to pull in a web page for whatever reason, or you need that extra, the ATEM died for whatever reason, you can always be running the ATEM into OBS, and OBS has still got your technical difficulties. We'll be right back screen, right? Go ahead, Tony.
So, are you guys talking about embracing the ATEM that you already have with using Mimo Live together?
Yes. We're basically saying, so in your case, Tony, your ATEM Mini Pro, the USB that's coming out of your ATEM Mini Pro going into your Mimo Live PC or Mac. Well, in this case, Mimo Live will be Mac. So your ATEM Mini Pro USB that's going out. So your cameras and everything are still plugged into your ATEM, but your Mimo Live will do the graphics. It'll bring in people from Zoom if you need to. It'll do the extra stuff that the ATEM does well, but it does the extra stuff that it can't do. Like it can't have Zoom, as an example. It can do graphics. You can get the ATEM to do graphics, but it might be a better place to actually have the graphics in Mimo Live a little easier, because it'll be a lot. You can have one person controlling the ATEM Mini Pro then at that point, and that's the person that's worried about what cameras should be on at that time. Then you have another person that's doing graphics, and that's the person that is that end person before it actually gets sent into Zoom or sent out to YouTube, Facebook, Nemo Live, LinkedIn, like Hasbeth is maybe going to eventually do too. Hasbeth is going to go live to LinkedIn one of these days. Oh, he's thinking about it. He's laughing. That doesn't mean no. So there you go.
Hasmuk, speak to me about LinkedIn going live before you do it. It's a challenge.
Yes. All in favor?
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Motion
you.
carried.
Thank you.
But yeah, Tony, that would definitely be a scenario too, because again, you've already invested in the ATEM gear. You could actually have the ATEM do the hard stuff, which is actually worry about the cameras, and have Mimo Live be less source resource intensive, where it doesn't have to worry about the video because it's always going to have the same video that the ATEM is sending into it.
Yeah, for the longest time, I used Mimo with my ATEM just for the backgrounds in the super source and for overlay graphics and things like that. I let the ATEM do the switching. Now, for various reasons, and Robert knows why, I went on a tirade about a month and a half ago thinking something was going to go away, right? And I was busy replicating mix effect in Mimo. All the mix effect super sources, but doing it strictly in Mimo.
Which you could do, but time consuming,
Well,
big time.
Where was I? Where's my?
Oh, you've got Hasbeth's attention, even though he's tired and he's got to go to bed. Look at that. He's watching you like crazy.
No. I'm intrigued. I'm just wondering, asking Peter, it sounds like his tirade has subsided. I wonder why.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can
Do your demo first, Peter. Then we want to know why the tyrant has subsided. That's question 2.
Because that's. Oops, I'll go back.
Oh,
No,
Peter's off camera.
I got overly excited with the mouse. That's all.
And he's back.
Because was it 2 weeks ago, Andy, I forget which one of the Discord forums, either here on Zoom Test Kitchen or actually in Office Hours Discord, made the point that all the liminal products will be part of the enhanced media license. So that, while it's still more expensive than it was under the 50 seat license model, it's not outrageous, right? So for $20 a month, or a $200 a year commitment, I think, is if you do it on a yearly commitment, at least here in the US, that's not outrageous. So that's why I'm saying I'm no longer on quite that tirade I was on when I thought, because I literally have something, first week of May, and my license expires the first week of April. My current Zoom, my current 50 seat license.
So that 50 seat license is gone. Is that what you're saying?
That's essentially what he said on the what he.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what he did say, I mean, the key there is, we've heard a lot about the enhanced
media,
license that will give you the 60 frame per second, 1080p higher bandwidth, but also included in that $20 a month US are all the liminal tools.
Okay.
The minimum now is 600. You can't get a 50. You can only get 600.
And that's expensive as hell for somebody who's paying out of his own pocket.
Yeah, and what Andy did say, and I will give him this, he kept his promise. He said that even if your license expires, if you had a 50, your liminal tools will still run until we come up with a proposal. So even if the license expires, your liminal tools still run until they come up officially with the proposal that you can buy to get the liminal tools in a package.
Yeah, which they're saying, at least his theory was the end of the month, or actually, I guess this weekend. Is it this weekend or is it next weekend when the 60 frames per second goes live?
don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
as far as we heard, and this is we as a community, 23rd.
So tomorrow,
We're the 20th today.
or this,
So
or I should say Monday.
Monday.
So they were saying they
Now-
were updating
now-
the website.
Your definition of live is, will it be live in the US and not in Canada? Will it be live in this
Well,
and that there?
Yeah, there's that, and there's also, I mean, it's, if you're a commercial user, it's live right now. You just have to know who to talk to to get your license turned on. For people like me who bought it off of the web, who do I talk to? So I'll just wait until it appears on the website and say,
Yeah, well, I don't know if Andy's going to be doing anything more with the liminal website, but I'm hoping Andy will put something up there for you, for everybody that has bought something previously. Yeah. So that they are at least redirected to Zoom's main website in some way and somehow, so that everyone will understand that
yeah,
if you need any liminal products going forward, this is where you got to go.
I don't think he intended to do it, but one of the things he pointed out at that point, there's a Zoom ISO version 3 that shows up at the same time.
But
Yeah.
Peter, my paper attendee licenses expired at the beginning of this year, but my liminal tools are still active.
Oh,
So what Andy said is that even though your license is expired, the liminal tools will still be active until we come up with this new offer. So we're waiting for the new offer
right.
to be able to buy it. Yeah.
It's kind of ironic because remember we were looking at when did my 50 user license expire, and then we figured out it had expired, but the tools were still working, and I then renewed my another year of 50 user license in January, I think.
Yep.
When we were
I remember
in
when
there.
you did that.
Yeah. So I assume my 50 user license will work till January next year.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yeah,
have
they
not
won't take that
seen-
away from you.
I haven't seen Zoom take away something that they've already given in that way.
Yeah.
So you're good. You're good until January. That's
Yeah. By that time, all your guys' problems will be sorted, I'm sure. You'll just pay a little bit more.
Yeah, so Hasmuth got in and see, Hasmuth, it was good that you did what you did. See, look at you. Everybody should have done the 50 PPA just before they took it
Exactly.
offline.
Yeah.
Too funny, gang. All right, so I will do my infamous. Let's see if my Q&A thing will work. Oh, look out! I might break things. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Yes, if you have any questions on YouTube for the panelists that are still here, and Hasmuth is still here too. Yes, you can ask him questions too. Let us know in chat, and I will relay to the gang that is still with us.
It's incredible how I just woke up after literally falling asleep an hour ago. So
There you go.
when you have a vested interest, you stay awake.
Now we got all the Hasbus endorphins going, and it's like, oh, I need the answer. I need the answer before I go to sleep. I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I understand. Too funny, Hasbus. Too funny. And as usual, everybody's has to thank Hasmuth again for the beautiful bars that we got in here. And I did see something with John this week that actually intrigued me. Was that I did see an itty bitty little oscilloscope in one of the Zoom apps nowadays. And Johnny, you're gonna have to help me where we saw that. Are you there, Johnny? Come in just to drink water. There he is.
there.
I'm there. Do you remember where you were showing that to me?
Does he do it to the rest of you? He'll just pick something that's happened in the last 3-4 months, and he'll say, "Do you remember when we did?" And then he expects you to zoom in onto that particular place. Unlike Zoom, Mike doesn't have chapter markers. No, Mike, I'm really not sure what you're talking about. You'll have to give me another clue.
The other clue was, I think it was a little white icon that had the Zoom logo in it, and it also was showing the audio when you and I were quiet. Remember, it was flatlined, and then all of a sudden when we started talking, it actually had the audio bars and such. I can't remember if that was clips or not. Was that clips? Maybe that was clips. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we were talking about Zoom clips. I think yes.
Yeah.
I love Zoom clips.
Yeah.
Now,
So
Except I still have to have a copy of Camtasia if I want to example something in Zoom, because Zoom clips can't record itself, so to speak.
right. Husband, go ahead.
no, I mean, you've seen me in Zoom Test Kitchen from home for more than a year now. So I'm really disappointed that nobody commented on my new frame setup here. So you may be thinking I'm sitting in the office, but actually I'm sitting at home.
We're too
The
busy
whole-
looking at your pictures, Hasmak.
Well, that's the whole point, because for a year you've been watching this TV that was off and my speaker in my music room. So I've set up, well, let's put it this way, I encourage my daughter to move on. So
That was the most politest way I could ever hear that sentence. Husband. That was beautiful.
Congratulations, but it looks beautiful. I will say it looks good.
But I didn't throw the water out with the baby. I kept some of it. So Robert is killing himself. So anyway, I'm using her X room as now my office at home. So I hold some of the stuff out of my office, my work office, and I set up permanently here at home. Yep.
Yeah, no, everything's perfect. And I guess the only thing that we do miss is the fireplace in the background. I guess that would be the only fish.
Yeah. I'll move downstairs when it gets too cold.
But if we're going to do ruthless review, I think it really looks great. But
Yes.
the audio is very good. I don't know what your microphone chain is.
So
but it's
yes, I've been using shocks downstairs when I've been in Zoom Test Kitchen. So I brought my Mix Pre and my PR40, is it? The Heil PR40 mic. So I have that, and I got my in-ear monitors. So yeah, I sound good. I look good, but nobody noticed it. So yeah.
I've been admiring your in-ear monitors with an extra thin cable. It looks super. You can hardly see them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, these Mickey suggested I bought Bumblebee at the beginning. As I said, during COVID with office hours, I went completely nuts with my bank account. My manager also told me that. But I bought a Bumblebee in-ear monitors, which is probably one of the more expensive options. But Mickey suggested these, which are N-ear. They're a little less expensive, but they have the same setup as the Bumblebee. Extremely thin.
So if I can continue, I think your lighting is really nice. We can see you well. You've got a cinematic view with the dark side on one side of the face and the brightly lit on the other side.
There we go.
The background is slightly out of focus. Hasmak, we can tickle you all evening. It really looks good. It just looks good.
So I actually tried to put up my camera, and I brought my 6K here, and I told my staff, I'm not holding this camera up and down. So I'm actually looking for a webcam. So I'm looking at the Sony either FX30, or somebody suggested I look at a Sony ZV-E10
Yep.
as a camera.
Definitely much better for what you want to do.
Yeah, so they said the ZV-EV10 doesn't have a fan, so it heats up and all that. But when I talked to the supplier. He said, well, if you're using it as a webcam and you're not doing long productions, it should be okay. So I'm thinking, I'm really thinking of using. You won't believe it. I kind of slipped the Insta360 into my 15-inch teleprompter. So I got a people's prompter here, and I put the Insta360 into the teleprompter. So it's kind of quite funny. I see this green ring when I'm looking at the teleprompter. Because often you don't notice that there's a camera because you're looking at the gallery view. This Insta360 keeps staring at me. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And just before Zoom Test Kitchen actually came out, I noticed one of my influencers that I followed has demonstrated, and Robert knows this influencer that I'm talking about. There's a brand newer teleprompter that is rival to the beginning level, as I'm calling it, the smaller Elgato teleprompter. It's a little cheaper. It's a little cheaper made, but it's similar in size, and it is the same type of scenario where it's display port and built-in monitor.
Well, I got a small rig teleprompter as well. So I'm going to try that because I can't have this people's prompter, which is desk mounted, sitting here at home because I need to take it back to the office. But when I've, in fact, when we were doing, John may remember, when we were doing the cooking show or in the beginning of office hours, I think there was a ruthless review on just about everything, and I got quite stung by somebody said during the cooking show, she wasn't making any eye contact. I said, oh God, now I need to bring a teleprompter home so that she can make eye contact. And that's exactly what I did because I have it's a 21-inch or 27-inch teleprompter in my studio.
Oh, geez.
Yes, exactly. So I had.
And she was still talking to you after you brought that into her kitchen?
So you see, when I said we went nuts, I mean, it was extreme. So, and I had this Manfrotto ball tripod. And so when she saw all of this, she said, listen, this is insane. We got to stop this.
So the newer X12 is really a quite nice monitor. I have both the Elgato and the newer. And the Elgato only works with display link. And since I'm Mac-based,
yes, correct.
yeah, I've got
yes,
that.
Correct.
So where the newer one is display link or the micro USB-C, I think both of them are too plasticky because for us in state parks, we're going places and we tend to drop things. But I'm really happy with my newer one, and I put both the Instant 360 in it and duct tape and electrical tape around the green circle.
Yeah.
But I've been really pleased with the newer, and I think that the video that Mike talked about, they were saying the price difference was about $70, but it's really more about $100 less because you could usually get it at a discount if you're on Facebook or you do it. I think my newer I got for $180 at one point, so that was a pretty good price. I think it's listed $239, and then I think the Elgato, of course, you get the Elgato's the current one discounted. There's also a company that made a attachment that lets you attach the DJI Pocket 3 camera and slip it into the teleprompter. So I'm actually playing with that. So My challenge now is with the parks, they want to get further and further into the park, further and further away from roads. And so any piece of equipment that we could use in multiple ways, as a teleprompter, as a handheld,
Right.
and so
I'm
we're
gonna
having fun in the
hold
parks.
I'm gonna hold my small rig teleprompter out. The thing is very portable. It comes in a little case, and you assemble it, so it's very, very portable. That's what I liked about it. Yeah.
Well, another thing I could say with that one, again, I'm going to make my pitch to QCam presenter. With that new rig, you could use one iPhone as the camera and the other iPhone as a screen for the teleprompter, and that becomes a very lightweight, carry it out there.
Well, with a webcam, like with the Blackmagic, they have a very nice, effective app on your phone, so you can control the camera quite extensively. Your ISO settings, your white balance, and so on. So I'm hoping that if I go for the Sony, it also has a at least usable app. I've got a Sony Z6, and my supplier who sold me the Z6, I've tried to use it as a webcam. It's a total challenge because there's no way of controlling that camera except getting behind the camera. So if your camera is in a teleprompter, it's a disaster.
I mean, you can always do what I do. My webcam here is one of the Sony AX series video cameras that has
Okay.
that has HDMI out, clean feed HDMI out.
So that's a camcorder, right?
It's a camcorder, yeah.
Yeah.
Real honest to God.
Yeah.
It's not doesn't look like a camera body. It looks like it's your 15-year-old camcorder body style.
All right.
I use the I can twist the screen, the flip out screen that all
Yeah.
Well, it actually turns 180 degrees, and I can look straight at that little screen there.
Wow.
No, I'm not very good at it, as Robert will attest to, because I'm terrible at looking at the camera. But it's possible, right? And of course, it's got, like all Sony cameras, it's got beautiful autofocus.
When people come into my office and they see this Blackmagic Pocket 6K as my webcam on my teleprompter, they say, "You do take your work seriously, don't you?"
Well, I was somewhere this week where I was staying in a hotel, and all I had with me was this.
Yeah. That's a Pixie, is it?
So Pixar 6K.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize it. It has USB out and can act as a webcam.
Right.
Listen, gentlemen, I think we need to be careful with what we're calling a webcam. We're going overboard here. These aren't webcams anymore.
Yes, let's be nice to our friends at Logitech and not steal away from them that they still make webcams. Does anybody even talk about a Brio anymore? Since we're all talking about DSLRs and it's got to have a 1K sensor and
Yeah.
I'll take that as a no. Go ahead, Peter.
I was going to say I just installed the beta software to give me autofocus on the continuous autofocus on the Pixis, which is nice, and face tracking.
Yeah. And what I did was everybody on YouTube and chat and also our panelists here too, I found the X11 is the model, newer X11 is the model of the latest teleprompter that has the built-in monitor that you don't need an iPad or such to get the job done.
I'll let you guys into a secret. Coming back to cooking in kitchens, My parents live in Canada and I am in Poland. And I cook a lot online with my mum because she finds it fascinating to watch me and she tells me a lot of things and what to do. And I use a Facebook portal. It's an old piece of equipment with a big screen, but the camera on that is so brilliant. It tracks me walking around the kitchen
Yep.
perfectly. It zooms in really well. It doesn't give you motion sickness because of all of the movement of the camera. And in terms of lighting, I have no additional lighting in the kitchen at all. It is, and of course, it has this big speaker on it, so it's loud. You can hear what's being said. The screen is big. You can put it vertical or horizontal. I don't understand why they stopped producing the Facebook portal. It was such a brilliant piece of hardware.
Yeah, that is what the industry has been saying, Robert. You're not the only one. A lot of people love their portals, Facebook portals. Again, with the ease of use of too, probably you just dial it up through Facebook too when your mom's ready to go too, right? With the integration or using something else.
No, that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
perfect.
Well, with early days of Office Hours, my first HDMI camera was the Huddle.
Yes.
So the Huddle had a USB and a HDMI, but yeah, I have no idea why I stopped using it. Probably because of the Blackmagic cameras.
Because of office hours.
Yeah, it's when you get suggestions, you have these options, and then you have the one option that says buy once, cry once. Now, unfortunately, I'm a sucker for buy once, cry once, which is usually the most expensive option, based on people's experiences and what they. But now I'm a little bit more not skeptical, but more reserved on this buy once, cry once approach.
Sorry, Hasmut, can I come back to your background for a second? Are
Yeah.
those small monitors with pictures behind you? Because I've just realized now that they're actually bright. They're emitting light.
No, they are picture frames. My family frames.
But they give the impression that they're emitting light because they're so bright. They're just plain pictures, colored photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
They look really good in that dark background.
This is my setup in the office. So but there I use my Sigma lens on my Blackmagic, which is I put on f-stop 1.8. So it's the depth of field is a little bit more blurry than what I have here.
No, I just got an impression that they were actually small LED type screens because if you look at the book and you look at the picture above the book, they seem dull. But those two pictures now are really bright, as if they're emitting light.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. They're a little reflective, I guess. Yeah. Whoa, it's way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got very energetic, Hasbet. That was the reason.
Yeah, problem is I'm not going to be able to sleep. Yeah, so and I think about all these things: Mimo or not to Mimo, Ecam or
The
not
Mimo
Ecam.
to not the Mimo. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I have mixed inputs on Mimo, but watching David do Ecamm, it's just amazing, So
Now again, remember that David uses Ecamm and he uses it a lot, right? Just like you use the ATEM a lot.
Yes,
so
I know.
Right. So he knows the ins and out and backwards. And that's again what you would have to do too. If you were going software for you to even, I don't even want to go down the madness called vMix too, because you can do things 5 different ways in vMix to do the same thing 5 different ways. But again, you've got to learn your tool, right?
Yeah,
If you're comfortable enough with X tool and you want to go to Y, that's great. But understand that the amount of time you put into the ATEM to learn the ATEM inside out and backwards, you now have to dedicate that time to.
well, they use Mimo Live in the extra hours on Mondays, and I know a lot of work was done because they had these labs in after hours as well.
Yeah, Oliver did
And
the labs, and
Oliver,
Mitch uses it for the last Angry DJ,
right?
and Tony uses it for his
For
show on
yeah,
Wednesday
yeah,
night.
yeah,
So we
Yeah.
we have a good mix of Ecamm,
yeah, yeah.
Mimo Live, and vMix.
But honestly, it looked like a lot of work to me compared to a hardware solution because you had to build all these possibilities of how you wanted to cut the show. So
Right.
whereas with the hardware setup, is a little bit more flexible.
Well, it's more
If you,
organic, but it was back to
Yeah,
what we
yeah,
were talking about, is
yeah.
that a Mimo show done the way that I encourage my students is all the flexibility in filling it out. You can make very flexible shows. You just
Sure,
to have a very complete plan. So
exactly.
we would have essentially what we have right now in the minor part of this is we have 4 city councils. They all are different. They all have slightly different chairs, slightly different cameras, slightly different process. Once we created the document, our operators see it doesn't matter the difference. They look at their little iPad and it just shows the faces of the people and who's ever talking, they push it.
Yeah,
If you were well, we when we were doing that with hardware, the people had to look at their monitor, which was their
yeah,
prefix and stuff.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but none of these programs are Ecamm, Mimo Live, and particularly vMix, in my opinion. You can't do anything live. And OBS is the same thing. You have to go through and get all your scenes and all of that because if you're going to try to modify things in real time, it's pretty
I
hard
mean,
to do.
what I'm showing here I mean, the biggest thing I had to do is figure out, and Achim helped me through Discord, Oliver's brother, right? Is I
Yeah.
basically said, I want to do this, and so I have 2 split screens, uh, layers, stacks, two sets of, and I repeat them both, and then I could swap between them, fade out from one and fade into the other,
Right.
right? But I had to, as John was saying, I had to
Build this.
I had to plan it out. What are my options, and get very. And I talked to, and I can never say Ronnie. Talk to Ronnie. I mean, the whole idea is you have to think through, but it's think through what 1 up, 2 up, slides versus the speaker. But it's actually no different than what you had to think through with Mix Effect, to be quite
Sure.
honest.
I agree. I agree.
But
Yeah.
I think the thing with Mimo is you look at what you've got there, Peter. In Mimo, you can actually control every pixel, that little globe that you got rotating. I mean, it seems complicated, but can you pull up the Mimo document that's got
Yeah,
that?
can I share screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know if I could. That's all I was.
Zoom Test Kitchen is much more democratic. Don't worry.
Yes, we are. I guess.
So that's that Zoom. That's the document.
Right. And you could change the color anywhere in the pattern of the lines around the squares. I mean, what I like about Mimo is literally pixel by pixel. Where it really stood out for us is when we had a project where we had a video that we couldn't shoot again. We couldn't replicate it. So we had to make a Mimo document that replicated all the graphics and images, graphic materials exactly the same. So literally, we were able to match it completely
Yep.
because it's that Photoshop pixel by pixel. The way I describe Mimo Live is Photoshop treats each photo where you're going to work on it for 10 hours and then you're going to show it, where Mimo Live treats every photo that you're going to change it every 30th or 60th of a second, but you want to have the same ability to manipulate it as if you were spending hours on it.
Yep.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but during the build-up with Alexander and Oliver and them for the using Mimo Live for extra hours, you can also plan for the way Zoom ISO works in the event you want to pull somebody
Well,
from
I
the
mean,
meeting into your one ups or two ups.
absolutely.
If you
So,
want,
so right here on the left, if you're seeing, those are Zoom sources. Those are Zoom ISO sources.
are you running this right now on a different document?
No, I'm not actually. This is.
I was going to say, because I could call in from my phone on
Oh,
a
I
Zoom
could probably.
call.
No, I think. Hold on. Let me try something. Here, I have not.
Because this is Zoom Test Kitchen. This is a Zoom feature within
Yeah.
Mimo, but it's also a feature within Ecamm and vMix, and now a feature that's available on ROS switchers and all sorts of things.
But they use the Zoom SDK for Mimo and Ecamm, am I right?
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
but all, it's not only Ecamm, Mimo Live, OBS has a way of doing it, and ROS switchers and Grass Valley. Essentially, a Zoom meeting shows up as independent video sources as if it were a separate camera.
Right.
Yeah. So
So which meeting is that? Is this the Zoom meeting, test meeting, or?
it's the Zoom demo meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me do that on my phone. I haven't tried this recently. I should have enough internet here. Okay. So what's that called again? It's Zoom. You want to give me meeting ID?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Meeting ID is 891-656.
891-656.
1023.
023 891-656-1023, and
The passcode is
okay.
lowercase z, capital T, M as in Mary, V as in Victor, 3, capital D as in dog.
Okay, is that it?
That's it. There you are.
So is John controlling this from his phone?
No, he just joined.
Oh,
He just-
the video's disabled, so do you have to enable it for me?
I can't enable it.
No, you can't enable the video feed in to that meeting.
Oh, in
Yeah.
that meeting, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do your own meeting, yeah.
Hasmak, this is just a test meeting. It simulates
Oh, I
different
know, I
ISO
know.
feeds. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's this is Oliver's meeting on the Zoom account that Guy has. and
Yeah.
When I'm home, I can switch to video and become one of the panelists, but I can't do that
Yeah.
here.
It was Synthesia, is that correct? Synthesia.
That was used to generate the avatars. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in fact, one of my audio engineer, when folks come to my office, I always tell them, come and watch my dog and pony show. So I get them to sit where the talent normally sits, because they on that desk, they facing the teleprompter. On the left side, they have the monitor for the slide machine. And then on the right-hand side, they have two 7-inch monitors. So the one is a confidence monitor, and the other monitor shows the H2R graphics timer or a message that we want to project to the talent during the production. Things like you got 5 minutes left, or your time is running out, or there's a digital hand up. But the other thing we do is that when we ISO somebody from the meeting, then H2R graphics, through what Jonas set up for me with triggers, brings the Zoom name onto that little monitor.
Right.
And then on a teleprompter, they see the full 27-inch view of that ISO video feed. So the talent is looking at the person asking the question. So my team used the Synthesia AI characters to do the show for them. So they sit there, and this lady comes up and to say, at Mobiland, this is how we do the show. So let me show you how we switch from one monitor to another. And they just love it. Yeah.
That's actually a great use case. Synthesia for training purposes is brilliant. It's really good.
Absolutely.
Well, that's part of the reason I'm so happy with the marketing that Stream Alive is doing. Because Stream Alive, you could take a PowerPoint deck that you have, connect it, and then if you have a 30-slide PowerPoint deck, and you could say, I want to have an interaction every 3 slides, and then it reads through your deck and suggests either a poll or an open-ended question or a lottery spinning wheel. And after you accept those, then it says, do you want to experience the meeting? And you could run through the whole deck, and they have a bunch of they're robots. So it's as if so you get to this 3rd slide and you say, so how many of you have done this? Yes or no? And then once you see a score, 25 said yes. And so I've had people go through this demo, and then they see the value of, if I just do that with my own slides, can I just keep practicing? And I said, yeah, the advantage of this is that it's fake data. It just randomly generates it from what you're doing, but it's not totally random because it's connected to the topics that are there.
Right.
And so we've been able to have people, practice a show 6 or 7 times in real time. Because lots of times when people practice, they sort of rush through it, or they don't stop. Or so what magic will happen here. But in this one, they're running through their show at its pace and getting the interaction time. Right. So it's a lot of fun.
Just a little bit of feedback from last week when I asked about cybersecurity and Zoom with the mobile operator. So I still have a meeting with the cybersecurity team this week, coming week on Wednesday. But what I discovered, that everybody in the organization can join a Zoom meeting through their browser.
Yep.
So thought to myself, okay, why am I having the cybersecurity meeting if every employee can join a Zoom meeting? Because I'm hosting the meeting, so even if I dumb down all the things we said last week, switch off chat, switch off third-party apps, and et cetera, so I think I'm going to have a very short meeting with these guys. So I asked my son who works for Mimecast to be in the meeting, so that if they talk gobbledygook with me on cybersecurity stuff, I at least have somebody who can.
Yeah, Hasma, what you probably run into, Hasma, and again, it's good that your son is going to be coming with you, because again, that is what he does on a day-to-day basis. They might get picky with you saying, we want to make sure that there's no bots, and that's been a big thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Bots are not, meeting bots are not allowed to come to the meeting, so you'd have to make sure that's not allowed. There's going to be certain, you got to think of it where you've heard Frank talk about quite a bit when it comes to security and Zoom and stuff that he's had to implement at the university for his large
Yes.
account, right?
Yes.
So have a lot of those stuff that you've
yeah,
heard
absolutely.
here in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
brain, because
Yeah.
if Frank has probably had to not allow it through Zoom, then chances are you might get questioned about that.
Yeah. No, I
Even
think
then, that's assuming they've done their homework and actually have gone nitpicky, going, yeah, we don't like that. Yeah, we don't like that. Yeah, we don't like that.
yeah. No, I think the big thing last week was this. I didn't think about it because I encouraged them to download the app. And I think the big paradigm shift for me during last week's Zoom Test Kitchen was just use the browser and let them join with the browser. And so I asked them, I just took a sample of folks in the organization. I said, can you join a Zoom meeting from your computer? I thought you're not allowed to. He said, no, I can join. I just use the browser. I said, okay. That kind of is something that I learned last week, to ask the right question. So yeah, that helped a lot.
But that's
Right.
actually quite interesting that they're aware of the fact that Zoom runs in a browser and on the app, because majority of people don't know that you can run Zoom through
Exactly.
the browser. So that's actually quite good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Robert,
they're
you'd be
already going
surprised how
through a
many.
little bit of backdoor too. Go, Johnny.
You'd be surprised, Robert, how many people have been using Zoom in the browser for years and never know that they were.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the comment you made last week, and I thought because I asked
Because I've had it on the forums. See,
Yeah.
I've had people ask questions on the forums,
yeah, no, but
and then I suddenly realised halfway through their little comment, they're not
Yeah,
even using the app.
So I actually asked you last week to say, is there any downside of using the browser versus the app? And your retort was, well, most people that are using the browser, they don't even know that they're using the browser. And I thought that was quite a big shift for me, very big shift.
Yeah,
I gotta go, guys.
Yeah, there has been. The only thing quickly I'll say is that there might be a couple of features here and there that the browser doesn't do that the workplace app does, but
That's fine.
I would not want to bring a panelist in.
No,
Let's put it
exactly.
that way.
Yeah.
But people viewing via browser shouldn't have any issues.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Enjoy
Yep.
that.
Yeah, I think it's time
Take
to.
care, Hasmith. Thanks for the bars as usual, audio bars. Take care.
Yeah.
I'm going
right,
to call
cool.
it a day as well, or should I say a night? This is the time of the day when.
Excellent. So I didn't realize your parents are actually in Canada. That's so awesome, Robert.
Yep.
Where are they at in Canada?
In Montreal.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. No, there's a big conglomerate of Polish and Ukrainian people out in Montreal as well. So yeah, I can imagine. Very cool.
Okay, nice spending time with you. Thanks very much, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, Robert. Good to see you. See you next week if you can make it. All right. I'm going to throw it up one more time before we wrap this up. Says Mikey after almost 3 hours, maybe almost 4 here. Any final questions for Pete, John, and myself that are left in the Zoom Test Kitchen? Let me know in chat.
So, John, I took your challenge and I wrote a couple of quick little Python scripts to use the
What have I done?
the
What have I
API.
done?
Well, it solved a problem for me that I was just getting sick and tired of doing. So,
Oh, we're all intrigued now. The spotlights are on both of you. I need to know.
You're not the only one who's written some code thanks to the developer show.
yeah, in my case, it was it's actually I had to go through a scouting approved registration system to register people, checking a whole bunch of other stuff that had nothing to do with Zoom. But I could capture their email, their first name and their last name. And then I wrote some Python code to force register them into the meeting.
That's brilliant.
Right. So that was, and then like right now, I should be doing it right now. I can trigger to send the reminder Zoom emails.
Oh, and then they
Well,
became
I'm
that was
just,
awful quietness. No, go ahead, Johnny.
I'm just so glad I started that show then. Our new Wednesday developer show.
Yeah.
Inspiring coders everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
As
I don't
long
know
as you-
about that. I don't know about that show.
You don't know? Well, tell them more, John.
On Wednesday, I have a show for Zoom developers to show you how easy it is to develop in Zoom.
Fair enough, but other than
So
word of
I've
mouth,
taken it
how
to that
does,
extra level for you.
other than word of mouth, how does one know about this show?
You haven't got the link?
No.
Go.
Dear. I was
Dot
expecting Mike
Lord
to pull his
Zoom.
graphics up then and
Oh, goodness.
go.lordzoom/links. And you get links
That-
to all my shows. In fact, I'm so excited. I'm going to put it in YouTube for the YouTube people as well, because I
Oh,
wouldn't want them
just
to feel
did.
left out.
Just
Oh, you
did.
did? Yeah.
Did. Yeah. And I'll put it in here for Pete as well.
What I really need to do now is a show about my shows, because it sounds I'm doing the shows. Mike's helping me with quite a bit of it. I think it's ridiculous that I am running 5 to 7 shows a week, and they're all unique. They're not pre-recorded ones. These are the unique ones. Pre-recorded ones are coming in as afterwards. But
Yeah.
I'm just mind boggled that we can run so many shows. And yeah, I still need to have a bit of spare time. You know, I had some time today to do a bit of gardening and do the garden and whatever. It was good, nice in the sunshine for a change.
Yeah.
But
And
actually,
Johnny-
it's like everything we've talked about today. Once you have a system, you could just roll them out so quickly and so easily. Once you know what you're doing, you just repeat. It's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
In fact,
I know
I've just recorded a new song for one of our shows. So I've just had Suno generate a new song for one of our shows for me, so we don't keep using the same theme tune on all the different shows.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I discovered, it's not Zoom, this is Mimo Live, but one of the things I discovered several years ago at Mimo Live is I can design a standard template and then clone the template. And the only thing that changes in the API calls is the show number. It's like a 7-digit number. The actual references to the sources and the layers and the variants, those don't change.
No, we're doing the same thing in Zoom.
Yeah.
So I used to, when I first started, I'd do an event and then I'd duplicate it
Yeah.
so that I got all the same settings. Well, now we've got a multi-session event. So basically it's a weekly, and it just has each session for each week, and it just keeps repeating.
Right.
And we do the same thing with Production Studio. We take the Production Studio, we run the intro music with a graphic for the particular episode. So I have to re-record or reproduce the intro with the graphic for the
show.
for the show. So there's just one video for Mike to play. Put that into the Production Studio intro. We have an outro that now pretty much stays the same. So unless I add a show, that's pretty much the same. All the other scenes are we're using Production Studio, so all our scenes are all there. They're all pre-programmed. They're all pre-populated with whether it's Mike or I in the scene layouts. So we don't have to do any of that either.
Yep.
And that means that it is literally 5 to 10 minutes for me to produce one show, details from the previous one, and it's all done there. And if we didn't, I suppose generating the intro video is probably the longest time I take on the whole thing. The rest of it is just drop an image in, as you say, change a title, and your show's ready to go. And then I have about usually 6 to 12 lines of outline of what I want to talk about, and then hopefully I manage to get through all those 12 items. But we don't always get them through in the same order because it just depends how the conversation goes.
Yeah.
And that way we can run an hour's show with 15 minutes prep.
Yeah. And Pete, with a lot of the different layouts that you're using now, majority of them are all in production studio.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Minus the only thing that isn't there from what you've shown was the animated background.
Yeah.
At this time, but that doesn't mean that that couldn't be something that we could ask Josh to do. Maybe.
I've heard hints that they're thinking about doing that at the moment.
Right. So again, it would just be a
promised, but they are thinking about
video
that
in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the nice thing about production studio is you put a 4 up, and if there's only 2 of you there, it just ignores the other 2. So I do like that, and I wish these other products would do that sort of reaction to the number of people you've got available.
Yeah, where it's not a hard coded. You must fill all the boxes. No.
Yeah.
Production studio is very flexible in that regards. Where in what we've got right now is John's got a 3 up for me and also a 4 up for me, and I put both of us in those 3 up and 4 up. But should somebody all of a sudden come or we bring somebody in from the crowd to be a panelist live during the show, then I could just throw them up into the 3 box, or if we bring 2 people in, I could throw it up into a 4 box. But yeah, but again, I could still, and all I have to do is just remove the people that were there, and that automatically becomes my 2 box.
Yep.
We just have to make it competitive.
Yeah.
So these guys just keep adding features to keep up with each other. We've got to stop them, deciding that's it. We just need to encourage them to keep adding these new features, and then they're looking to compete with each other. And we'll get more and more features as we go.
Yep.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing to you guys. But you're going to have to play the game. Otherwise, we won't talk about your product. We'll be talking about somebody else's. So there we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what time is the developer one on Wednesdays?
Oh, over to you, John.
Can you ask me next week?
There's a reason.
Yeah, there is a reason. Because you see, I'm not on summertime yet, and you guys are. So it gets very confusing because you're only 4 hours away from me, and next month you'll be 5 hours away from me again, and I'll get to understand it all.
I'm probably 5 hours away from it because I'm in U.S. Central Time Zone.
So you'd be 6.
6.
So you'll be 6 then. That's why
I will be 5.
Because this is a problem or a feature. I don't know which way you can take your view. It's either a problem or a feature. But once you start a meeting in Zoom, a webinar in Zoom, you can't change the time zones. So I'm stuck in my time zone. I tried to change it to Eastern so I could tie everybody to Eastern time, and we could just mention Eastern time, everybody. But you can't do that. So,
well, I went to the web page and I just was confirming because it tells me it starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Daylight Time, which is wrong because we're on Central Standard Time in the US. So I will check. So do you change this weekend?
Well, it's every 2 weeks. So fortunately, the next episode is going to be after I'm in summertime. So it will be
So it
7
should be
p.m.
semi-right.
Yeah, it should be 7 p.m. BST or 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
So 1 o'clock for you. So if
1
it's saying
o'clock,
1
yeah.
o'clock, then it's actually right.
On April 1st.
Yeah.
On April Fool's Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So don't believe anything I say in the show.
There might be fools running around on the developer show. We'll see.
All right. Well, I'm going to go walk the dog and have some dinner and prepare for my 2-hour Zoom session tonight.
Oh my. Yeah, I was gonna say John and I were already on our double. So we did our production one, as you saw Pete earlier today. So
I have had a 2-hour Zoom session I'm hosting for about 300 kids. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday tonight, and again on this coming Sunday.
Good to be
sorry,
busy.
I'm not available.
What was that, John?
I'm sorry, I'm not available.
I wasn't expecting you to be. Though I do know we do accept the certification from the British Scouting Society that you've passed all the youth protection guidelines.
No, I've never been able to protect anybody. So let alone a scout. Crikey, I spent most of my scouting life running around with a penknife in my hand, in my pocket. Dangerous. But I always had two hankies. Always had two hankies.
There you go.
One for your nose and one for anybody else getting cut by my penknife. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great evening.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Peter.
take care, Pete. Thanks for joining us.
Mike, did you get the link I sent you? Or
I will double check it after the show. If not, I'll let you know in Facebook.
Facebook or Discord, for that matter.
Sure. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'll let you know. Very cool. Thanks, Pete. All right, everybody. Since it's just John and I, Johnny, any quick last words before we wrap it up for this week?
Yeah, I think, do you want to play your music or shall I play mine?
Officially, I have to play the Zoom Test Kitchen thing.
Yeah, it might confuse a few people. Certainly confuse me.
I know. But on that note, it is karaoke time, everybody. So enjoy. And we will make sure that I don't blast it in everybody's ears. So here we go.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live.
Live.
Every Friday we're on air testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No rest. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No rest.
All right. We did not wreck this week, everybody on the Zoom Test Kitchen community. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know and, of course, Zoom know so that we can have more Zoomies show up for our show every week. And do stay tuned with Andy Carluccio joining us next week. So don't forget that. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And if you're in John's time zone, we'll figure it out. But we have to wait a little more. See everyone next week for another rendition and edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everyone, on YouTube.